the talk. Yeah, we calling the play. If it's sports conversation, we leading the way. From the hardwood to the gridiron plays, breaking every matchup, every headline debate. X-Rated Sports Network. Yeah, remember the name.
Welcome to a new week of Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. Hi, how you guys doing? We have reached the conference finals. We've got 2 rounds down. We've got 2 rounds to go. Very exciting show planned for you. The great Lionel Hollins scheduled to be here at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Dwight booked us a great guest, Justin Rowan. He's a Cavaliers insider, and we'll take a deep dive on the Cavaliers side. Guys, before we dive in with our first topic, which is obviously very Game 7 specific, we got to shout out Jamal Mosley. Jamal Mosley gets fired by the Orlando Magic. 14 days later, exactly 2 weeks later, he gets a new gig with the New Orleans Pelicans. To me, it's a bad look for the Orlando Magic, right? I mean, you whacked a guy, it's change for the sake of change, and bam, another team says, okay, you dummies, we'll take him very, very happily. So just a quick word on Jamal Mosley. I'm super excited for him. I have no idea what the Pelicans are going to do next year. I do like Fears. I do like Queen. But Dwight and AM, shout out to Jamal Mosley, man. That did not take long.
So here's the deal. I was on a group chat earlier where I said this Pelican situation is somewhat similar to what Jamal Mosley took over with the Magic several years ago. Now, the Pelicans don't have a Paolo Banchero nor a Franz Wagner, but the aforementioned Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen, could those be the 2 building blocks the Pelicans build around going forward? I think Jamal Mosley is now, I don't want to say stereotyped or pigeonholed, or could he be a developer of a culture where there's young players in the mix? You bring him in. He had success with the Magic. It didn't transcend to playoff success, but I think the NBA, the Pelicans in particular, like how Jamal Mosley handled the Magic situation. So let's see how it unfolds going forward. Joe Dumars definitely has a plan. Do you keep Zion Williamson, the oft-injured, much maligned so-called superstar or face of the franchise with the Pelicans, or do you move on? Do you move on from several players on that roster and simply start from the ground up with Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen? It remains to be seen, but Joe Dumars made the right hire, I think, and he also knows that they have a lot of work ahead of them trying to rebuild this Pelicans franchise.
AM, a quick word on Jamal?
Yeah, look, I mean, good for Jamal because we all agree that he should be a head coach. But, am I going to congratulate him the same way you guys are? No, I'm not. To me, the New Orleans job has been a void for years, literally like a vortex that you just don't want to be sucked into. And here's Jamal Mosley, and that's where he ended up. Nice of you to say all these things about Joe Dumars, Dwight, but I don't see what Joe Dumars has proven to anyone in the last 4 or 5 years when he was at Detroit, and now he's down in New Orleans, and he made one of the worst draft day trades I can possibly remember. I mean, think about what you're saying. Like, the cornerstones are Derek Queen and Jordan Fears, and not to take anything away from these guys because they could very well be cornerstones one day, but like they're 2 years away from being, I mean, I know the adage is 2 years away from 2 years away. They're like 2 years away from being 6 years away. That's how I look at these guys. Like, Trey Murphy wants off the team. Zion's not going to be there more than likely. Who knows what's going to happen with this team? I mean, they have the sum of their parts. They're like the opposite of synergy. That's how I've looked at New Orleans forever. Like, they've got players, they've got names, they've got guys who should gel, and yet they're putting up barely 20 wins a year. Good luck to Jamal. I hope he goes down there, changes the culture, figures it out, puts together a real roster top to bottom of 8 or 9 guys who matter. And maybe it is with Queen. Yeah, and Rick, you want to say something? I'm just going to keep talking because I could feel myself like getting excited. Jamal, good on getting a job. Wish it wasn't with New Orleans.
Yeah, I just no, it's all good. I just wanted to get a bite from you guys on that. The Pelicans are such a hard team to discuss, but wanted to acknowledge we're all Jamal Mosley fans over here. Most of us at least, we've gone to bat for him. I think it's pretty cool that 2 weeks later he gets to laugh at Orlando. By the way, it's a 5-year deal with the New Orleans Pelicans. Good for Jamal Mosley. Now, let's get cracking, baby. Let's talk some playoff basketball. And we had a game 7 went down last night. Very disappointing. Speaking of disappointing, guys, our first debate of the show. Are you more disappointed by the Pistons or surprised by the Cavaliers? Are you more disappointed by the Pistons or surprised by the Cavaliers? So here is I believe it's called a mea culpa. I don't know how to spell that. I'm not even sure I said it right. I'm not even sure I'm applying it right here, okay? But I think I am. I was wrong. I'm not sorry, okay? When I'm almost sorry. But I was wrong. You guys were right. I give this to you, okay? So it is what it is. But you guys rock. I got this one wrong. But I've been doubting the Cavaliers all year long. You guys know this. Been very well documented. Got to give them their flowers. Got to give them their respect. The Cavaliers proved me wrong. I did not think I would be here on Monday, May 18th, with this Maya Mia Via Culpa or whatever the hell it's called, okay? But you guys were right and I was wrong. Are you happy now? I didn't think that Donovan Mitchell and James Harden fit. They've proven me wrong about that. I didn't think the Cavaliers had enough dog in them to beat either Toronto or Detroit, especially Detroit. Again, they proved me wrong. I didn't think Evan Mobley had that kind of tiger in him. The overtime game, to me, that was a breakout game for Evan Mobley. Like, I was like, damn. I mean, he's dunking, getting knees high like Shaq. He blocked shots. I'm like, and then he had some plays in game 7, like a couple of just, thunder dunks that were like, nah, this is our game tonight. We're turning your arena into our arena. And I just liked it. It was force. It was intangible aura stuff that I really haven't seen from Evan Mobley, at least not consistently. I didn't think the Cavaliers could win game 7 on the road with a bad performance from James Harden. They proved me wrong about that. Harden was 2 of 10 from the field, 0 of 6 from 3, and it did not matter at all. They had 4 players in the 20s. They beat Detroit by 58 points last night, and I didn't think that the Cavaliers could make the conference finals starting a player as mid as Dean Wade. But they have proven me wrong about all of this stuff. Okay? So AM for you, you first on this one, man. Are you more surprised by the Cavs or more disappointed in Detroit?
Oh, I'm more surprised by the Cavs, but not the same surprise that you are. I'm surprised it took them 7 games to beat Toronto and it took 7 games to beat Detroit. I thought it would take less. This is a team that I never came off of. Well, sort of. I made my jokes or whatever, but I always kind of jokingly also said that the East still runs through Cleveland. I mean, you think about how good they were last year. You think about the beginning of this year, early January. They were 21-8, barely above 500. They were in the 8th seed, okay? And they climbed their way back and got themselves into the 4th seed. And they did it again in the playoffs. Both series, you expected them to lose, especially after the dagger RJ Barrett prayer that went in that game in Toronto. You thought that was going to be a backbreaker. Nope, they got it done. Giving up game 6 the way that they did and going into Detroit, nope, they got it done. And to your point about James Harden, though, to give him his due, he didn't turn the ball over in last night's game, and that was a huge key. And that has been the biggest problem for Detroit all series. They turned the ball over. Cleveland just didn't need to turn the ball over, and, well, look what happened. Speaking of Detroit, and I want to bring this up, I'm not disappointed them at all. They outplayed who they were supposed to be this year. No one had them pegged as a 1 seed. No one had them pegged as a 60-something win team. No one had Jalen Duren making this leap, Cade making the leap that he did into basically first-team All-NBA. They were great. They had a good season. They were first in the East, and they did a wonderful job winning that game 6 down in Orlando. Nobody should forget that. Yeah, Franz went out, but they did a great job on the road winning that game, and they gave away last night's game. They just weren't up to it. They got to make some changes. They got to bring an offense. I hope we get a chance to talk about them later because to me, their makeup, their salary cap makeup, fascinating. And we don't need to get into it now, but I hope maybe a little later we do. I'm not disappointed in them at all. In fact, and I'll bring this up and then I'll hand this over to Dwight. You remember very early in the year, right around October or November, I was disappointed that they were not better. I'm like, Detroit, step it up. You've got a better roster. You should be better. But I didn't expect them to be number 1. Not in the East, but I said, get better. And they did. And then they were good. And they, top 3, top 4 team. That was amazing. They ended up number 1. I thought they had a great season. More surprised Cleveland didn't get it done sooner.
All right, Dwight, what's your call on this one?
And this is exactly why, AM, to your point about the Cavs, I'm more disappointed with the Pistons because the Cavs were supposed to get this far. And then they doubled down on trying to get this far by acquiring James Harden, who to now that move has been justified. The Pistons have been number 1 all season long. The Pistons obviously targeted the New York Knicks based on how they played against them. So much to the point where a lot of New York Knicks fans, my cousin included, would probably talk down about Detroit, talk about the faults of Detroit. But if there was one team the Knicks didn't want to face in the Eastern Conference Finals, were the Detroit Pistons. Now, if you talk to most pundits and to most Knicks fans, they're happy they're playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers. But we'll dive more into that over the course of the show. The Pistons are the more disappointment. Based on their regular season, they were supposed to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I think because of the roster construction caught up with them. What do I mean by that? They put a whole lot of responsibility on Cade Cunningham and failed to address the losses of Malik Beasley, who was lost to other issues, obviously, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Dennis Schroeder, who is now on the Cleveland Cavaliers going to the Eastern Conference Finals. They only addressed that by acquiring Duncan Robinson. Now, was Trajan Langdon and the Pistons front office hamstrung because the Malik Beasley news came down too late during the offseason? That's something else. But during the season and at the trade deadline, they didn't do much other than acquiring Kevin Huerter, who they pretty much punted on early in the playoff run. So that's on Trajan Langdon. That's on the Pistons front office. But again, I'm more disappointed. They had a successful season, but I'm more disappointed in the Pistons because for me, I wanted to see the Pistons against the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals and to see if the Pistons' regular season success against the Knicks would have translated or transferred to playoff success. I'm missing out on it. There's a lot of fans out there who are disappointed they're missing out on it. So I'm more disappointed by the Pistons because the Cavs, based on early season prognostication and at the trade deadline by acquiring James Harden, they're supposed to get this far. In fact, some of us have the Cavs winning the East outright. So let's see what happens.
Hey, Rick, before I throw it back to you, can I say something really quick? Total non sequitur, guys. But I got to bring you back to my my early college days, like 96, 97, when I was a freshman, and just learning how to party in college. 95, 96 Sega, man. Nobody loved college basketball more than playing that game. Trajan Langdon, when he was on Duke, the Alaskan Assassin, tremendous. I would only play with Duke, and I loved Trajan Langdon. He put up like 40, 50 points for me. Not a lot of people remember that guy. He deserves his flowers. Sorry. Just completely out there, but hey, the nature of our show, a little beyond the surface.
I like the random tangents. I do. Keep them coming, man. It is Rick Kamla. It is A.M. Pfeffer. It is Dwight Walton. The great Dr. X, the insufferable Dr. X. Last I heard was in Turkey. Up late night last night watching the game, and but he's not with us today. He'll be back with us again soon. Obviously traveling the world with his very, very talented wife, Shalea, who is singing before thousands. Go ahead, Dwight.
Rick, he wasn't watching. He was scouting. Understand
he was scouting. Yes.
He was scouting. He wasn't watching. He was scouting. That's what he was doing.
Like I said, James Dolan needs to put him on the payroll, man. He's got his eye.
Yes.
He's got his eye on the enemies. What do they say? Keep your enemies close. Doc is keeping his enemies very, very, very close. I mean, he's like walking alongside of them, okay? And by the way, shout out to Dr. X because, a lot of you guys were on Cleveland this year, but he completely called Detroit. They're frauds. They're not built right. All the stuff that he said, bam, 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 it all came true. All right. And he's been a pretty consistent backer of the Cavaliers too. And so This series went like he said it would, and like many on our panel said it would. Not me, obviously, and I already had my Via Mia Sangria Culpa or whatever the heck it was. Next question. Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. Bigger breakthrough, James Harden or Donovan Mitchell? Who had a bigger breakthrough? Because they both did. Donovan Mitchell made the conference finals for the first time in his career. Obviously, James has done this now, not a lot, but multiple times. Game 7 for Donovan Mitchell, he was fantastic. 26 points, 15 in the third, in 31 minutes, and a back-breaking, nearly half-court shot at the end of the first quarter. The Pistons get a big bucket, and Don just goes, yeah, launch time. Oh, did I buzzkill you? I'm not sorry. Okay, and it was like kind of a route from there. I'm going to go first. My answer is James Harden. All right, and so I already gave you I was wrong, and so now I gotta give you the Harden take here, because obviously I'm hard on James Harden, rightly so. A lot of playoff failures have created me being a tough love guy with James Harden. This was an inevitable breakthrough for Donovan Mitchell for me. 29 years old, he was going to do this at some point. Harden's 36 in year 17, running out of chances to get that ring. It's a bigger breakthrough for Harden because it would be a much bigger deal for Harden to get a ring than Donovan Mitchell. And if you don't win this game, obviously that's all flushed down the toilet. Harden, here's the Dwight Walton stat. Harden is second on the all-time list for most playoff wins without a ring. He's number 2. Karl Malone is at 98, and then you have James Harden at 97. Okay, Harden is back in the conference finals for the first time since 2018 with the Rockets. Given the way Harden bounced from Houston to Brooklyn to Philly to LA, okay, Dwight heard me and Antonio Daniels scanning the league, trying to figure out a new home for James Harden, what kind of pay cut he's going to have. Dude, Dwight, you know this. The league was turning off on James Harden. Most teams in the league either didn't want to do business with him, had already done business with him and were scorned, or had like a great young point guard, right? Like, it was hard to find a home for him. And now look at James Harden, okay? All-star numbers. He's in the conference finals, has a chance to do some really, really big things. Also, lastly, this is a bigger breakthrough for Harden because he doesn't have to do it all, okay? The OKC days, obviously, that was the case. But every other place he's been, man, he's been, Atlas with the Globe. Every other place. He's not like that now. This is like a free and easy wheeling James Harden. He can have a bad game and they can still win. He can have a great game and be the guy that leads them to the win. It's like the perfect arrangement for James Harden. So shout out to him. As I said, I'm out here. James, change the narrative in real time, okay? Prove me wrong, okay? Make me say I was wrong, okay? And he's on his way to doing that. But, guys, he's still got a little ways to go. Dwight Walton, you next on this one, man. Bigger breakthrough, Donovan Mitchell or James Harden?
I'll have to respectfully disagree with our esteemed host, Mr. Rick Kamala. James Harden has already been to the conference final. I think he's been there several times. And let's keep it real. Although, listen, James Harden had a poor performance in terms of shooting, in terms of points, field goals attempted, but the reality is he was a plus 31 in the most important game of the Cavs this season. Donovan Mitchell may have been better statistically, and I think Donovan Mitchell impacted the game at the start of that game, and not by scoring the ball. He tried to score, but I think he was more focused on trying to get his teammates involved, knowing that it would be a lot easier on him as the game evolved, and it simply worked out that way. This is a breakthrough for Donovan Spider Mitchell. It's his first conference finals in his career. He had been much maligned about it. Now, even in his post-game press conference, and maybe it was something he shouldn't have said, he said they can relax now. The monkey's off their back. They can't relax. They're trying to win the East to get to the NBA final. So that's why, while happy, sometimes you got to be guarded with what you say. So this was definitely a bigger breakthrough for Donovan Mitchell because he got the monkey off his proverbial back. So Harden's already been there. Harden still has some demons to get over in terms of game sixes and game sevens. But at the very least, Kobe Altman's acquisition of James Harden justified that trade at the trade deadline. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals now. Let's see if they can upset the Knicks, as they will be the underdog in the Eastern Conference Final. Definitely a much better breakthrough for Donovan Mitchell. And kudos to him because he's been knocking on the door. Now he's knocked down that door. Let's see if it can parlay to an NBA Finals appearance.
Hey, yeah, break the tie, man. Bigger breakthrough here. Beard or Spider?
Yeah, Spider, but only by default. You know, I want to say Harden for all the reasons you did, Cam, but the reality is, you know, Dwight's putting a good point on it. Like, Harden's at the tail end of his career, and Mitchell's right in the middle of his. He's gone 9 years in this league being one of the premier guys and not having gotten to a conference finals. Well, here he is now. That's a breakthrough. That's just what it is. That's just default. But I'm saying that, but also saying, like, was he really that great in the Toronto series? No. Was he really that great in this series at like sub 3 assists a game and not getting to the line when he needed to? No. He had a couple good games, and game 7 was one of them, and he outplayed Cade. That's a breakthrough. That's huge. And when he had 42, that was huge. I mean, but it was Harden who had to save their asses, I believe, in the Toronto series at least once, and he had to save them twice. So that alone gives Harden the edge in terms of like where he is, and that's a breakthrough for James Harden, even when he doesn't have to be the guy. But who's this a bigger breakthrough for? I mean, Harden's just looking to get paid, right? Like, he's got an opt-in next year if he wants, but he probably wants another 2 or 3 year deal to get him through. He's 40, and he may have earned it, whether it's a Cleveland or somebody else. But breakthrough, that's the word we're using here. It's got to go to Spider. He's in the conference finals for the first time in 9 years.
All right. I like the takes a lot. I would say that this trade was good for both teams because the Clippers get an all-star point guard as well, a lot younger than James. Obviously, the Cleveland side, I mean, applause, worked, okay, good trade. But when Harden retires and Darius Garland is still cooking at 20 points, 8 assists, you know, that's kind of my thinking on that. But I think as it sits right here, it's a trade that benefited, pardon me, both squads. All right, let's talk Cade Cunningham. Dwight Walton, you go first on this one. Were the lights too bright for Cade Cunningham in Game 7? Were the lights too bright for Cade Cunningham in Game 7? Beyond the Surface, X-Rated Sports Network, Rick Hamlet, Dwight Walton, AM Pfeffer. Cade Cunningham, 13 points, 5 of 16, 0 of 7 from 3. Horrible game, maybe his worst game of the year. Dwight Walton, were the lights too bright for Cade?
The lights were too bright for Cade Cunningham. I think fatigue finally caught up with Cade Cunningham. Listen, the Cavaliers schemed against Cunningham brilliantly. They weren't double teaming him on every possession, but over the course of the game, at specific times, they would send late double teams, forcing him to give the ball up and forcing other players to the point that we've been making all season, my cousin specifically, forcing somebody else on the Pistons to score baskets, to make plays for themselves or for others. And Tobias Harris, unfortunately for the Pistons and himself, reverted back to the old Tobias Harris. He was on a terrific streak to where he was scoring the ball at a 20-point per game clip, but it started to fade away, especially when the pressure mounted, that it was obvious that Jalen Duren wasn't going to get it done as a second scorer. So Tobias Harris became more of a key on the Cleveland Cavaliers scouting report, and they started funneling a lot of their defense towards him as well. So it's a collection of things. Cade is built for this, but we have to understand he's 22 years old. He's young. He's only going to learn from this. He's disappointed that he's lost 2 seasons in a row or been eliminated 2 seasons in a row at home. That's going to burn in his blood. It's going to make him improve even more. And I'm sure Cade, very quietly and softly, will put pressure on Trajan Langdon, the general manager, to get him some help. Of course, the talk out there is Kyrie Irving. There's Norman Powell. There's going to be a lot of other players to where Cade Cunningham is going to ask. The same way the Lakers, Rob Pelinka, and Luka Doncic are going to be in collaboration, you can best believe Trajan Langdon and Cade Cunningham are going to be in collaboration. Jalen Duren took a step back, although he's young, but it's just Cade is too good. He had an MVP type of season, a definite all NBA type of season. And whether it's an excuse or not, the dude had a collapsed lung. The severity, none of us will know, but I think it affected him. And having all that load on his shoulders, probably had the most usage rate in the NBA playoffs. It caught up to him. It caught up to the Pistons. And even if the Pistons had won, I'm not so sure how much they would have had left emotionally and physically for the Knicks had they gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals. Cade Cunningham is fine. No lights are too bright. He's got this dog in him. He definitely absorbs the moment. He will learn from this. He will benefit from this. Cade Cunningham is just fine.
Just fine. However, Dwight said that the lights were too bright. AM, where are you at with this?
Weren't.
Oh, weren't. Oh, I thought. My bad. My bad.
No, weren't.
I got to go get my hearing checked or something.
My
man.
fault.
Rick, I'm with you. I could have sworn that entire rant, Dwight was saying that the lights were too bright.
No.
Okay, he said they were not too bright for Cade.
And then right at the end, you say we're not too bright, but okay, weren't too bright. So, all right. So, Dwight, I'm with you. The lights were not too bright. No, I'm not going to use the word weren't. I don't want to be taken out of context. Were not too bright. I mean, look, my man was amazing in Game 6 on the road, and then all of a sudden the lights are too bright in Game 7. No, he's been in the league long enough. But you see the highlights. Jason and Kai did a wonderful job putting up enough of them to see. He just looked like a little too tired. He just, like, the legs weren't there by like 12 to 18%, whether that, was just fatigue going into Game 7, that, too much mileage in the playoffs in 2 back-to-back 7-game series, whatever it may be. That's all it was. But, like, where were you, Duren? Where were you, Robinson? Dennis Jenkins, you were okay, but where was everybody who he needed, to step up? Where were you, Tobias? Isaiah Stewart, like, where were you all series, man, for your $15 million? I mean, you're just tossing guys around instead of actually playing the game of basketball. Like, he didn't have who he needed around him. Great job in Game 6. Cade Cunningham had a phenomenal year. He had a terrible injury. He still came back and played like a man through the series and through the two hard-fought series after that. I got nothing to take away from Cade Cunningham. These lights were not too bright. I'm so excited he's turned into who he is and what his future holds, and the people of Detroit and the fans of that city should be like more than excited that he's your superstar who could be there for the next decade plus. He's awesome. It was not too bright. It was just a bad loss.
Yeah, I'm excited that he's doing this too, AM. I drafted him in the Cam Dynasty before he even played an NBA game in the first round of a Dynasty draft because I was like, Cade Cunningham is it. He's Grant Hill 2.0. And so he has turned into that. Dwight Walton says, lights not too bright. AM Pfeffer says, lights not too bright. Rick Kamla says, lights not too bright. Lights too bright means it's kind of a choke job, right? Cade did not choke. He is not a choke artist, okay? The lights weren't too bright. Guys, you know this. Correa knows this. Jai Singh, all of our great audience member knows this. The Pistons got smoked last night. And as we saw over the 2 weeks, a more talented basketball team. You could probably say that the Cavaliers are a lot more talented than the Detroit Pistons. Who's the best player on both teams? Cade. But who's the most talented team? It's Cleveland. I mean, Jalen Tyson can't even find the floor. I like Jalen Tyson a lot, okay? Strus is obviously just ascending right now, playing like Miami Strus. And so they're getting a lot of good contributions outside of their core four. But guys, this was a beatdown from the beginning. The Pistons shot 35%. They lost Dwight will love this. They lost every quarter, okay? They lost every quarter of the game. They couldn't even win the fourth quarter in garbage time, okay? The lights weren't too bright for Cade in Game 5 in Cleveland when he had 39 points in that overtime loss. The lights weren't too bright for Cade in Game 6 to keep the season alive when he had 21 and 8 with 5 threes. The lights weren't too bright for Cade at the end of the Orlando series, as you guys remember, when he went down 3-1, 45, 32, 32, bang, bang, bang. We come back and we beat you, okay? Cade just needs more help around him. He's ready, but you got to have a crew. Detroit doesn't have a crew. And again, Dr. X was right. I know Detroit was more successful this year, but they had a better roster last year. Tim Hardaway Jr. and why am I blanking? Malik Beasley. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I agree with him. They were better. I mean, Duran became a different player. Like, we get all that kind of stuff, but just the guys that are in the box score and on the wood were better for Detroit last year. They just were on their way up, and then bam, they popped this year. But they got to get Cade a crew. Fellas, I thought that might have been a debate. It wasn't. Let's see if this one is. I have a feeling it will be. SGA wins MVP. Let's talk about it. He goes back-to-back with MVP. Okay, he is one of 14 players to go back-to-back winning MVP. You guys want to hear the list? It's a pretty good list. The list is, stop me if any of these names are non-royalty, okay? Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Moses Malone, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Steve Nash, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Those are the guys who have gone back-to-back for MVP. I don't hear any objections or corrections, so let's move on. I want to go to AM Pfeffer first on this. AM, did the voters get it right for MVP by voting for SGA? Did they get it right?
100%. And I know both of you were going in a different direction. They got it 100% correct.
Dwight is gasping. Do you hear this right now?
Here's what I'm going to say. The more we watch the NBA, the more we watch as we get deeper into the playoffs, and we need to remind ourselves of this every year. These awards are regular season awards, but this league only matters after the 82. You can say that about any league, but more than any other, the polarity in the NBA is so stark, and you see it all the time, year in and year out, by who continues to make it on there. Well, why am I going down this road? Because the proof is in that pudding. And SGA is the best player through 8 games, unquestionably, no matter how good his team is, no matter how good everybody else is on the team. He's still the guy who sets the tempo, and especially in that Phoenix series, you could see it. And just go back and look at his numbers. Look, the splits are all there. If you want to quibble with me about Wemby doing this, and he brought his team, and they're a lot better and this and that, I'm going to give you one particular instance why I could not vote for Wemby, and he lost me. It was like, 8 games to go, and he didn't play in that Denver game. And when you're the MVP, you play in that Denver game when they were at home. SGA came back when he was supposed to and did what he was supposed to do and turned up the juice. And Oklahoma City, even after they had their lull, they became the team they're supposed to be. He sets the tempo all over the place. He gets to the line like royalty superstars are supposed to. And what he does it all. He shot 56%. Rick, no matter what you're going to say about Wemby right now, or Dwight, what you're going to say about Wemby, I want to remind you, Cam, that it was you in show 1. What are we at? 60 shows now? In show 1, who said that SGA was basically the new Jordan. I'm not coming off what you said.
Statistically,
but he's got the aura, basically, of where he's at now. That's kind of where he is in the league, okay? And the 20-point streak alive compared to Will, it goes on and on. 100% right. SGA was clutch and the MVP this year.
Dwight, you've got to answer 2 questions for me. Secondly, the debate question. First of all, Why are you gasping? I think it's very debatable. I think AM was making great points. Why are you gasping here? It's like,
Well,
why are you
he's
gasping?
just giving me my fodder for my phone. The more he puts it on mic on hot mic, the more it becomes my ringtone. So he's just doing me a favor, Rick. I appreciate it, Dwight.
Jason and Kai, our fine producers, can you please fire up the Victor Wembanyama press conference, please?
Oh man, this he's bringing
Is it
evidence, man.
coming?
But by the way, did you pass this by the judge before you put this into evidence as Exhibit A? I didn't get as the opposing attorney. I did not get this prior to the trial, and we all know the rules, Dwight. I should have had a chance to take a look at what you're about to fire up.
Let me just go ahead. I think I sprung it on to our producers too late. Go back to that press conference where he answered sincerely the question, why are you the MVP? And he said it. Listen, I've been going back and forth with a personal friend of mine, Rowan Barrett Sr., the president and GM of Canada Basketball, to where we were discussing who should be the MVP and why. And again, I am Canadian, Rowan's Canadian, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's Canadian. So I want to apologize to my fellow Canadians. I'm just going simply based on the head-to-head matchups this season. It has nothing to do with who did what, how efficient SGA is, the company that he keeps, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Wilt Chamberlain, whomever. In the head-to-head this season, San Antonio Spurs dismantled the Oklahoma City Thunder in 4 of the 5 games. Jalen Williams is on record saying in his press conference, the difference right now between us and the Spurs is that 7'5" player that the Spurs have. What's his name? Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama changes the game on both ends of the floor. When it comes to Wembanyama, you throw statistics out the window. I am not disrespecting what Shea Gilgeous-Alexander did this season or over the past 4 seasons. They're incredible, incredibly efficient. I get it. But in terms of impact on winning, and yes, Shea impacts winning, but in terms of winning, did any of us have the Spurs finishing second in the competitive Western Conference? Maybe some of us had the Spurs being a fringe playoff team, or at the very best, a play-in team. But no, they won over 60 games this year. They were on the tails of the Oklahoma City Thunder for the entire season. We knew the Thunder were going to be great. We knew Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was going to be great. We knew how good Victor was going to be, but we didn't think he was going to be this good. His impact on his team had more impact than it did on the Thunder with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. The Thunder remained consistent. The jump the Spurs made this season was all because of Victor Wembanyama. Yes, they've got a plethora of young stallions on the perimeter. Fox, Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Stephen Castle, Dylan Harper. We get it. But why are they so
Do
good
you
this
get?
year? Hold
Do you
on.
get it?
Hold on.
These guys coming along.
Hold on. Why are they on the cusp? And listen, I'm going to say it right now, and I'll keep on repeating it. The Spurs are going to beat the Thunder. And why am I giving the Spurs a chance to beat the Thunder? It's because of that 7'5" guy, Victor Wembanyama. He's proven it during the season against the Thunder, and he's gonna be upset because he feels in his mind he should have been the most valuable player. The same way Akeem Olajuwon destroyed David Robinson when Robinson was named MVP. This is going to happen right now in these Western Conference Finals. I'm banking on it.
Almost swept OKC in the season, and we dominated them 3 times with their real team and 4 times with more rotation players.
And there you go. To me, it's that simple. It has nothing to do with anything else. Head to head, who was the difference? Victor Wembanyama, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Again, Shai, I love you, bro. I know we talk, have pictures together, all that stuff. We're a Canada basketball brotherhood. Nothing but love and respect. But the MVP this season, Victor Wembanyama. Head to head is the separator for me. To me, it's no discussion. Victor Wembanyama should have been named NBA's most valuable player this season.
Rick, before you answer, real quick. And look, you guys are staking the claim, but tonight is game one, okay? And based on everything you're saying, either the Spurs should be favored or the game should be like super tight. You know what the line is tonight in Oklahoma City for game one? Anybody? Without looking it up?
6.5.
What? 6.5,
right.
7?
6.5. So I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
Dwight.
Did I nail that?
You did. You nailed it at 6.5. On camera, right now, you and I are going to make a bet with the government watching. $1. $1 bet. And if
Hold on.
if Oklahoma doesn't, and if they don't win, you're just taking the spread. If they don't win, I'm gonna Venmo you the $6.50, and you gotta only send me $1. Oklahoma City's got to cover that 6.5, and I bet they do tonight. $1.
Okay, you know what? Although I don't bet, we're on a world broadcast right now. AM, I accept the bet. I'm all in. I'm in.
And in case the IRS is watching, I'm gonna send you the 40. Well, I'm in California. What do I owe you? 52.5%. With the state tax, whatever it is, you'll get the 52.5 cents. I promise. I swear, it's coming.
Dwight Walton, not a bettor, but all about that smoke and all about a challenge. And he said, "Bring that bleep to me." I do not.
Noodles in here for this.
So I want, I think Noodles is rocking with me and Dwight that the voters did not get it right. Wemby is the MVP of the National Basketball Association. I just want to make something clear. I am not butthurt about this. I am not disappointed about this. I'm not, because there are years when it's like a great debate, right? And your guy doesn't win and you're kind of like, I'm not at peace with this MVP race, right? Like there are those years. I am not there with this year. Totally at peace with SGA winning this award. I've said it a lot this year. This is one of the best MVP races of all time. I do not care what the voting said and first place votes and all that kind of, I don't care. It's my perception of it. You had 3. How many times do you have 3 legit cases? 3. Usually you have 2 legit cases. A lot of times you just have the runaway MVP. Okay. So this was a great MVP race. And I'm happy for Shai. I am. I think it seems like a really cool dude. Phenomenal player. You guys know my nickname for him, Mr. Consistent. I usually get a little bit more creative with my nicknames, but why with him? He's 20 points every game. He's 30 points basically every game, okay? Like 20's in the box score when he rolls out of bed and he's brushing his teeth. 30 is what he hits every game. Every game, okay? It's his consistency is literally unbelievable. He's more consistent than a lot of other all-time greats. When you put his name, anyway, you guys get the point. But Wemby led the Spurs. I got some math for you. I looked at this today. I was like, whoa, it's even crazier than I thought. Wemby led the Spurs to 62 wins this year, 2 wins short of OKC. Impressive. Check this out. The Spurs were 34 and 48 last year. Guys, they were in 13th place. 13th place. Okay? They won 28 more games this year than last year. What? That's insane. None of this makes any sense. From 13th place to 2nd in the West and a plus 28 in games won. I need to know if that's ever happened before. Legit, okay? This season, Wemby goes 25, 11 and a half, 3.1 assists, blocks, 51, 35, 83 were his splits. First 25 and 10 season in NBA history under 30 minutes per game. I've said this, I'll say it again. Wemby is the Shohei of the NBA. Okay. They need to rename the National League MVP award the Shohei. Okay. And starting next year, I believe they can go ahead and rename the Maurice Podoloff Trophy the Wemby. Okay. So SGA, good on you. You got one. You got one here because I think Wemby's going to go on an MVP run. And Dwight, just quickly, cherry on top of the head-to-head thing. I'm huge on it. Completely agree with you. Phenomenal point. When we talk Heisman Trophy in college football, so many times they like the two main dudes, right? One of the guys will have beaten the other one and all that kind of stuff. And like so many people disregard that, blow it off, act like it didn't happen. And it's like, what is a more important data point than what they did against each other when it's those two guys for the award? There is no more important data point than that. Like, oh, well, this guy's got a better record. He's got better. I mean, cool. Okay. But who won head to head? So SGA versus Jokic head to head, right? You did a good job of talking about the Wemby and SGA. SGA and Jokic. SGA smoked Jokic this year. OKC was 3-0 against Denver when it counted. There was a game on April 10th where nobody played, right? Throw that one away. The 3 games where they played the dudes and SGA and Jokic played in all 3 of those games, OKC won all 3. SGA's numbers against Denver this year, 35, 6, and 12. and shot 56%. Again, 35, 6, and 12. Those are his averages for the 3 games. Stupid. Absolutely stupid, man. So, okay, we disagree. But I like to take integrity right there because AM has been consistent on Shea all year. Okay, the plot thickens. We are scheduled to have Lionel Hollins around the corner about 12 minutes from now. Okay, so here's the next question. Dwight, you're going to go first on this. We know that SGA is the back-to-back MVP. Is he the NBA's best player? Let's get into that debate. Who is the NBA's best player? And I know what you got, like, what do you mean by that? It's whatever you want it to mean, okay? What defines best NBA player for you? Knock yourself out, okay? Because we all have different sensibilities. For me, huge on the ring, being tough, being clutch, being available, all that Cam stuff, okay? But I know you guys have much different lenses that you're looking through. So Dwight Walton, is SGA the NBA's best player?
You know what? Once again, with all due respect to my fellow Canadian Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I'm going to double down on Victor Wembanyama. I think he's the best player in the NBA because of what he does on both ends of the floor. We're only talking about San Antonio because of Victor Wembanyama. And Victor Wembanyama is going to get his opportunity to prove myself, others, and to the rest of the world why he's the most viable player. This is the stage right here. If Shea wants to double down and prove to us why he should have been named MVP, he's going to play great in this series. That's why I believe this series, this Western Conference Finals, has all the makings. I believe it's going to be epic. I think both players are going to take it personally. I think Wembanyama wants this. I think Wembanyama wants to prove to the world that this whole Chet Holmgren, Victor Wembanyama comparison is no comparison. He's already on record saying that. He wants to prove to everybody that he's the best. He's been preparing for this since he was a kid. He's not playing basketball because he's tall. He's a tall person that wants to play basketball. He has completely changed a franchise that hadn't been in the playoffs since 2017? And this whole narrative about you have to crawl before you walk, you have to have your heart disappointed before you win, you have to lose before you win. The Spurs are going to break that trend this year. The only players on the Spurs roster with any playoff experience is De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, and Luke Cornett. But who's leading this group? Who's leading this mostly young with some experience group? It's Victor Wembanyama. And Victor Wembanyama in that press conference said, scoring, that's only 50% of the game here. I impact the game in other facets. And that's why we had 62 wins this season and why we were just on the heels of the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are supposed to be the prohibitive favorites. Well, we beat the prohibitive favorites 4 out of 5 games this season, and it's mainly because of me. That's why Victor Wembanyama, for my money, is the NBA's best player. We're not talking about statistics right now. I think Wembanyama is the best player, and we're talking about the Spurs because of Victor Wembanyama.
AM, is SGA the NBA's best player?
With all due respect to Jokic, who led his team in 4 of the 5 categories this year, which is just ridiculous for a center. I'm going to put it like this. When you look at SGA, he's in the mold of like perfect 2-guard specimen for Jordan and Kobe, right? And when you look at Jokic, he's nobody's specimen. And yet he's like, he's like the paradox that just keeps giving and he just keeps getting better and he's incredible. Though he was not so great in that last series against Minnesota. Dwight, I'm with you. Wembanyama, as far as the best player is concerned, because you're talking about all facets of the game, unanimous defensive player of the year, not even close, and I don't see anybody touching him moving forward in that regard. Can hit the 3, can do it all, has the mentality. And when I think about Jokic and how he's the paradox, Wemby's something else. He is that alien. He is so exciting. And I'm like, I can miss a Jokic game. I can miss an SGA game. I don't ever want to miss a Wemby game when he's playing anymore for the rest of his career at this point. I love him. I love this man. He's not my MVP this year, and he was this close, but he is now the NBA's best player. I can't wait for this series. I can't wait to watch him, but I hope he stays healthy forever. Yeah, Dwight's right. It's Wemby. He's the best player.
All right. These are great debates because we are not seeing necessarily eye to eye, but I'm hearing everything you're saying. I don't believe that SGA is the NBA's best player. He's right there. I'm not mad at anybody who says that he is. I'm not mad at anybody who says that Wemby is the best player. And when you talk about like tools, skill set, I'll give it to Wemby. However, I'm going to nuance it more than that. Jokic is still the NBA's best player. Okay. And I'm going to go back to take integrity. Don't change your tune to fit a certain narrative or be prisoner of the moment, right? I'm not saying you guys are doing that, but it's a rule of mine. Have take integrity. Okay. So I have the way I have approached the best player debate, like with Jokic, for example. He was one of the best players in the NBA, knocking on the door of the best player in the NBA. And then he won. And I'm like, how is he not the best player in the NBA? Well, he is. Okay. The skill set, the triple doubles, the consistent winning in the regular season. Bam, he's got a ring. Led Denver to their first and only NBA championship. Okay. There it is. You're the best player in the world. So let's go to Wemby. Okay. Wemby versus Jokic for best player. I want to say that Wemby's the best player in the world right now. He's the greatest weapon of mass destruction in league history. Okay. So that very, to your point, in that way, he's kind of sort of the best player in the NBA, but he's won 2 playoff series. Okay. And so to me, it's about like, yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing. You're right there. I'm ready to say the words, Wemby is the best player. I'm just slow-moing it, right? But I can't, okay, because he hasn't won it yet. You got to be a champion for me, to have me call you the best player in the NBA. So Wemby, it's out there. If Wemby wins the chip this year, I will say he's the best player in the NBA. If he does not win the chip this year, I will continue to say that Jokic is the best player in the NBA. Wemby would be the 1A, and then, SGA would be the number 2 guy. So that's kind of how I look at that. And let's bring on Coach Lionel Hollins, perfect timing here as well. If we have him in the green, there he is. There is all-star. There is longtime NBA head coach and our good buddy, Coach Lionel Hollins. Unite Memphis. I love the T-shirt, Coach.
Yeah, we're trying to grow Memphis to the level it's supposed to be, and the only way we can do that is unite the races and the communities. So,
Amen. Amen.
I love it, Coach. I love it. So we're going to talk playoffs and look back at Game 7 and look ahead to these conference finals. But we're in a couple of really good debates here, Coach. And so in terms of SGA winning MVP, AM picked SGA for MVP. Me and Dwight have Wemby. Who was your MVP this year, Coach?
Well, I still would have gone with SGA. Wemby, is coming, and he will win his share of MVPs in the future. But SGA is at the top of his game, 30 plus points per game. And you can talk about the shot blocking and everything, which is very, very important. I think that's why San Antonio is in the conference finals because of him and his defense. But when I look at them, and I said this earlier, that I didn't know if they shot the ball well enough to win the championship or beat somebody like OKC. But they've shown that those young guys get to the basket and make plays for themselves and for other people. And Wemby runs the court. He's offensive rebounding. He's getting alley-oops. He's shooting threes. He does it all. He's a unique player for sure. But you made a comment before I came on air about he's the greatest weapon ever in history. I'd like to take you back to Shaquille O'Neal. I would like to see that matchup today.
Agreed.
I'd like to see Wilt and Wemby. I'd like to see Kareem and Wemby. I mean, we can get, a little bit off kilter with our praise and everything. But I say that each one of those guys in their era was unstoppable. Unstoppable. And when Wemby starts getting 100
step back and hit a three-pointer, though. I want to see Shaq and Wilt and maybe Kareem could have done it at some point, but I want to see Shaq and Wilt step back. Now you want to talk about
skill set. We never said that he didn't have the most diverse skill set.
Right.
He does. He shoots threes. He puts it on the floor. He goes behind his back, between his legs. But a mano, I'm taking those guys over Wemby at this point.
Okay.
And I love. I'm like you. Whoever said it, I love watching the Spurs play. Yeah, I love the way they play. They grind it out on defense and just tear you apart. And then they get out and run. They attack the basket, and then they shoot threes. And usually it's just the three-point shooters are shooting threes. Everybody's not shooting threes, which you don't see very often in the NBA no more. But go ahead.
So, Coach, this is Dwight here. You said that Wembanyama is coming. So, are you giving SGA the MVP, or are you saying Wembanyama has to earn it before winning the award?
Well, I think if you just look at the numbers, SGA had another bona fide season. You can't take that away from him because Wemby's on the scene and everybody's enamored about his skill and how he plays and that he's going to be the next and the next. You could say, well, we should give it to him now. But, there's time for that. So I am saying SGA is still the MVP. And let's go back to Joker. Joker has not won much since they won the championship. And he wasn't winning before they won the championship. They had a perfect storm team around him. And whoever was at fault for breaking it up, and sometimes finances cause that, he hasn't really done much. And if you look in the playoffs this year, he struggled mightily. But they still got through a couple of rounds. But I just don't, I don't see him on that level of being the best player anymore. I would love to play with him because you just throw it to him and run and cut, right? You don't have to shake and bake and beat somebody off the dribble. You just give it to him, and that's how I play when I play with Bill Walton. Just throw the ball to Bill and cut. You're gonna get the ball back. You're gonna get a layup. It's the easiest bucket in the NBA. or in basketball period. So, but yes, I'm still giving it this year. And it's tight. We're not talking about leaps and bounds. And I heard somebody talk about the having to uh, go through being beaten and all. I hear all the NBA players say that they didn't win because they weren't good enough. The best
That's my
team
point. I
wins.
agree.
Last year, OKC was the second youngest team in the NBA to win a championship. And I'm going to brag after our Trailblazers were the
Let's
youngest team in
go.
the NBA. And we had never been in the playoffs. The Blazers in 6 years had never been in the playoffs. In seventh year, we go to the playoffs, we win the championship. We didn't take a defeat. We didn't have to learn. We were the best team. We played together as a team. We defended, we rebounded, and we ran, and nobody could stay with us. It's not about going through the tragedy of defeat and all this other stuff. It's about, are you ready to win?
We know where this is coming from, Coach. It's because Michael Jordan couldn't beat the Pistons for 3 years. So the narrative became you got to get your heart broken, you got to get your ass beaten in before you win. That's where that started.
And
Well,
Isaiah with the Pistons too. Remember all the stuff
but
he had to go
listen,
through.
no, it wasn't had to go through. They were not good enough to beat Boston.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
If you go back to the 1 year they were supposed to win, where the game was at the end, and all Isaiah had to do was get the ball inbound, and the game is over. He throws it away to Larry Bird. Larry Bird gives it to Dennis Johnson, and they win the game.
Yep.
Is that going through something? You have to learn when to throw the ball in bounds and who to throw it to.
I love it.
Thanks.
But I just think that, and I think about the Phoenix Suns. I was assistant coach with Phoenix, and we had an unbelievable team. And we were called the Young Guns. And we destroyed all the Western teams except for we couldn't get by the Lakers. When we finally get by the Lakers, right, we can't get by the Portland Trailblazers. We never became the team that was supposed to be. And I love what Pat Riley says. Pat says, you're not the team until you're the team. They could talk about it. Utah Jazz never won a championship. The Portland Trailblazers never won a championship with the great players that they had because they never were the team. There's always somebody better. And that's you can say, well, if this hadn't happened, if that hadn't, they were the best team for that moment. And just like I look at Cleveland and Detroit yesterday, Detroit, best record in the league, went into Cleveland, beat them, came home. All they have to do is show up in a very consistent manner to how they had played all year. Didn't happen. So they're not the team.
They're not the
saying
team.
Next year they're going to be back? We don't know that. Unless they get some different players to help them improve, they may not.
Am, before you come in here, I gotta bring the late great Johnny Most into the conversation.
There's
a steal by Bird underneath the DJ. He lays it in. What a play by Bird! This place is going crazy. All right, Johnny Most. We appreciate you dropping in.
I thought you were going way back to when Havlicek.
That was awesome.
What's that, Lionel?
I thought you were going way back to when Havlicek. I mean, when Havlicek stole the ball.
Yeah,
and they won that.
He can do that too.
I can do that one too.
No, we're good. We're good.
He said we're good. Okay, Am, come on in here with a question. I love it.
Okay, I've been thinking about this all day, and I'm so glad we've spoken about the Spurs and we've kind of landed on them and talking about Wemby, because to me, the real story are the two 6'6", 215 guards, back-to-back years in Steph Castle and Dylan Harper. I want to hear from you, Coach Hollins. If you had these guys under your wing right now as a coach, what is your 3-year plan with both of them? The Spurs have struck gold clearly early, mined a little. They were hoping for a little nugget, and here they are with just a fountain of yellow coming out. Please, what would your next 36 months look like?
Let me put some context on it, because if you take Wemby out, everybody's talking about they got to grow and they got to learn and they got to do this here. They've been great.
Thank you.
Castle was a rookie of the year last year. And next year, somebody on the Spurs will not be there because the other kid, Harper, is going to have a place. And that's just how it goes. He's younger, he's obviously better, and he's really good. He's the second pick in the draft this year. Castle in college was great, and he brought it right to the NBA. I think that my plan would be to keep challenging them to get better in other areas. They're both really good defenders. They're both attack the basket and make unbelievable plays. They both pass the ball. I think their perimeter game has to be improved. Harper's a little bit further along, even though he's younger, not by much, but he's a little bit further along shooting the three. But the last game, Castle looks like Oscar Robertson out there. I mean, he's driving, he's shooting, he's playing defense, he's passing, he does, and he rebounds. People neglect his rebounding, but he contributes a lot to the rebounding, when everybody's trying to throw Wemby to the ground. But it's just challenged them to get better and to stay focused and to add something new to their game. All the great players come back. Everybody really comes back with something, but most people have limitations. And when their limitation is at the top of the ceiling, then they're going to have a better chance to get there if they keep improving and keep working and stay focused and stay involved. And then obviously the last thing is health. But if I were coaching those two guys, I was just telling somebody, this is not a knock on my guys because I love my guys. But when we were playing in the seventh game against the OKC Thunder, when they had all their guys, we started Sam Young, Tony Allen at the wings.
Yeah.
And neither one of them were great shooters. But what they did in the other areas with their toughness, their physicality, and their defense and their rebounding, and then we had Zach and Mark, and we were better. But these guys are on a different, another level. I mean, I love them, and I love to watch them play just as much as I love to watch OKC play.
Hey, Coach. Hold on.
Hey,
Coach.
Dwight. Can I quickly follow? Can I quickly follow, Dwight? Because I love. Pardon me. I love the AM question. But we've talked about this, Coach, and a real light bulb went on when you said, you got to make room for Dillon. So
that's where I was going.
Oh, okay. So then take it from here. That I didn't mean to. Let me see if we're on the same page, Dwight. Continue the thought here.
So I appreciate that, Rick. So where I was going, Coach, there's a method to AM's question to you, because AM has been on this train for the last several months. He feels that in order for the aforementioned Dylan Harper and Steph Castle to develop and evolve, De'Aaron Fox can't be in the picture, right? So he feels that the Spurs have to make a tough decision, get off of Fox's contract, and let Dylan Harper and Steph Castle run the Spurs alongside Victor Wembanyama going forward. So there's a method to that question. I'm not trying to call AM some kind of prophet, but he was leading you in that direction. So
well, he didn't have to lead me. He didn't have to lead me. I've been saying that all along. I think that
there you go.
if you look at the Spurs, Castle has been the point guard all year long.
Oh, yeah.
They throw it to him a little bit, De'Aaron. De'Aaron is a scorer, but they got another guy that's bigger and stronger and better defensive player that's waiting in the wings. But you don't even have to start Harper. There could be one of those other guys they decide to start, but you made the point about the money. Money always matters, and especially in smaller markets. And San Antonio has been wizards at managing money. They've gotten some of their best players to take less, and they've also jettisoned some people that they couldn't afford or didn't want to afford, because sometimes those guys aren't as good as the money says they are. And that's why you have to open that door and say, thanks for your efforts, but goodbye. But I already told you who I think I would get rid of. And he's not get rid of him. It is still a good player. And I wouldn't say, you'd have to get something decent that's of value that you need. What do they need? They probably need another big guy. One with a little bit more girth, that when everybody's trying to bang or Wemby gets in foul trouble, they can come with some guy that can lean on some people and throw some people around. But he has to be in the mold of what they are and how they play. They play small a lot, with Wemby being the only big guy out there, and Cornet has done a great job behind him. And when you got thoroughbreds out there running, the wings and the point and attacking the basket like they do, and then they spray the ball out, and you got Vassell and Camponi shooting threes, and sometimes De'Aaron's making threes, and sometimes Harper and Castle make threes. And when they're making shots, you're not beating them because you're not going to be able to score against them.
Yeah. Bring back Marcus Gasol, coach.
Mark is enjoying his life. Leave him alone.
He said leave him alone.
He doesn't want any part of this NBA. Come on, he's enjoying himself over in Spain. He's got his own team, lives a good life with his kids, man.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Coach, I want to go. We have the great Lionel Hollins hanging out with us. Blessed to have him on our show, Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. Coach, we began the show talking about Game 7 last night. Were you more surprised? And so overall, like the series, Cavaliers winning, Pistons losing, Pistons the 1 seed, they're out. Okay. So overall, are you more sort of disappointed in the Pistons or surprised that the Cavaliers are all the way here in the conference finals?
No, I thought the Cavaliers, they've said that about the Cavaliers. Oh, they had to lose and experience pain to get back this year. No, they just weren't good enough last year. And they almost weren't good enough this year. The 7th game, there was one big change that I don't think many people even recognize. They kept talking about the 2 big guys, but it was Donovan Mitchell attacking the basket at will. He had 6 assists in the first quarter and passing to the big guys. Now, all of a sudden, Detroit's defense is stuck. Do you get more help over here on him, right? Now, you do that with him, and you got James Harden who can make threes, right? And then Sam Merrill steps up and makes all those threes. That's like in a boxing match, and I know all of you have been to boxing matches, and I say this all the time. There's a championship fight, and both guys out there, and they're bam, bam, and hitting each other, and all of a sudden, one of them gets hit in the temple, and he's done. And that's what happened to Detroit yesterday. They were in the battle early. It was a close game, and they just kept getting hit. And then Sam Merrill kept making threes. And now the dam burst. And they don't know where to turn because you play a certain way and you have a style that beats up on everybody and destroys the other people's will. Now your will gets stolen. And they have to add some offense, obviously, to their team. But the bigs, I'm like, those bigs, I had 49 points and 19 rebounds. Donovan didn't start the game shooting threes. He started the game attacking the basket. And they probably couldn't have kept him out of the paint all series long. But, I'm going to throw Embiid in here. Sometimes those guys that can shoot threes like to shoot them all the time. And it's not what's best for the team. But I thought he grew up as a player and became what you would love your superstar to do, to elevate everybody else around him. If you watch SGA, he rarely starts off scoring every time down court. He's passing the ball. You don't take it out of my hand. I'm going to give it to somebody. Now you got to go play that guy. Now they attack and they score. Now you're leery of double teaming me. Now I'm going to work with less defense on me.
Amber, Dwight, you got another one for Coach?
I want to talk about the Grizzlies a little bit. I want to talk about that 3rd pick. Talk about what do you see? What are you thinking? What would you rather have on the team in the direction moving forward over their next 3 years?
Can I put a disclaimer on it? This is, I don't really care, and it's not my problem. But, people ask me that every day. I can't even go to the store. I can't go to church. I can't go anywhere without something.
Yeah, of course.
What I'm hearing is, and the Grizzlies are very good at not speaking to the media and sharing any information. You can't find anything. But what I am hearing is it's going to be the Boozer kid because they're going to try to replace Triple J, and he's going to be on a rookie contract, so it's going to be a lot cheaper. He's a lot younger. He's going to be a lot amenable to the coaching that they have on staff at the moment, Tomas. So just hope that he pans out. I mean, everybody's looking at all these guards, right? Peterson, A Cup. I mean, we always just say guards are a dime a dozen. And, if it's what you need, you go get it. But if you think you're going to get this player because he's going to be the best player in the league, he's usually going to be a very good player, not the best player. Not many people thought that SGA was going to be the best player in the league, the MVP, when he was when he came out and when he was with the
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. There's no question about that.
Memphis is fascinating though, because if I may, Dwight, I want to follow up with this and then we'll go with it, because it's not just about that third pick or where Memphis is at, but like they're a team now. I mean, besides Ja, who they've made it clear they want off the team, you're talking about Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Sante Adama as your number 2 and 3 guys taking up cap. That's all. Like, really, Memphis is a clean slate. That's why they're a fascinating team. I mean, obviously, your history with them in this. The other, I think it's worth discussing them because they're a fascinating team.
If the right decisions are made and they can get rid of the right guys, they are a clean slate. But, if they are not able to get rid of those guys, they could be in the same ballpark. And without Triple J, without Bane, 2 guys that were really good for them, but they kept going to the well and they couldn't, get the water out of the well. So a decision was made that they had to cut bait with the money, and that's what they did.
Yep.
And now they're still trying, and whether it happens or not, I don't believe they really want to trade Ja. He's the only thing left that draws people in the stand. Mm-hmm. And they're only having, late in the season, they were drawing 7,000, 8,000 people, right? And so he wasn't there to give that boost to attendance. But in fact, I saw him yesterday at the AAU game here. But the thing is that he has to play, and he has to produce winning basketball. Entertaining basketball is great, only if you also win with it. But if you're just exciting the crowd and getting everybody ooh ah, and you're still losing, because they were losing when he was there, and then when he came back, they had stretches where they won when he was there, and he's a great player. But it has to be some growth by him, some discipline by him, and some deciding not necessarily who he wants to be, but what he wants in his legacy of this league, because he's been 7, 8 years already, and I think the most game he's played is 59 games his first year. That's not very many. And you want to be a winner or you want to be an entertainer. So far, he's chosen the entertaining role. He has the ability to do the other role. I think they just, this is one of my beefs with the league. They anoint players before they earn the right to be anointed. Not that he wasn't going to be anointed, but make him earn it, because he came in, they're selling him to the public and he turns out to be pretty good and all of this here. But there was no accountability or control. Not just him, but many guys on the team. That's like, I read an article after Ja got suspended. Everybody said, oh, yeah, we were having team meetings and trying to get them to quit hanging out on the road. Well, you don't think the coach knew that? You don't think the front office knew that? What are they doing? So they have to be held accountable as well. And that's why, as you look at the Miami Heat, are they a great group of players? No, but they go out and they maximize their talent, and they're right there every year. The Spurs used to do that, right? Even though they were sliding and couldn't make the playoffs, they were still right there because the culture of the organization superseded the individual's desire to just be great by himself. They didn't allow it. What did Pat Riley tell Jimmy Butler? Shut up and play. You weren't even in the series, so how are you going to tell the other team that we're going to beat y'all? I mean, these are just simple accountability rules that, if you were a parent, hopefully you would insist on that. And if you have a standard and you have culture, they got to be enforced, because then there's no standard and there's no culture if you don't enforce them. You can't put sayings up on the wall, we do this and we do that, if they're not doing it. So I don't know the coach that they have. I've never met him. And, I know the team has what they call a lot of depth. They've been calling that for 3 years, but they never seem to have depth when people are injured. That bothers me. If you put guys in the game when your best players are injured and they can't help you win, then they weren't really depth. They were just players that came off the bench and held the fort until the big guys came back.
Coach, I'm with you, Coach, when you talk about John Morant. I know that there's stuff off the floor, but to me, I don't think. I'm sure they're concerned about it, but his ability to be available is what has curtailed John Morant more than anything, as far as I'm concerned. And that's why I think I'm in the minority when I say I don't think Memphis is trying to get off of Morant. That may prove to be different this summer, but I think they're trying to find a running mate. And to your point, I want to go back to Cam Boozer. Boozer is being maligned because he's not athletic, can't jump over a quarter, this, that, and the third. But if you just break down his game and his skill set and his IQ for the game, I think he'd be a pretty good running mate for John Morant in Memphis. So I concur with your opinion on that. I don't know if that's a direction they want to go to. I'm not even sure if Boozer will be available at 3 for Memphis, right? So because there's gonna be talk at the top between the Wizards and the Jazz in regards to AJ DeBansa, and then I think it's a crapshoot after that. Whether you believe or don't believe in Darren Peterson, I think most believe in Cam Boozer, and then there's the uncertainty in regards to Caleb Wilson and all the prospects down the line after that. So I think, and again, I'm on your page. I think Boozer would be the perfect running mate if you still have belief and want to build around John Morant.
Well, just a little bit of difference. They had JJJ, Jaren Jackson
Yes.
Jr., and he was supposed to be the running mate. He didn't always show up, you know. But the way that Ja plays, he gets hurt just by getting knocked to the floor, falling to the floor, running into people because he's slight built. So he has to adjust his game that way. But I think the AJ DeBonsta would fit Ja better because if the coach wants to run, this guy can run, he can handle, he can pass, he can shoot, he can score. You know, is Boozer going to be a limited scorer because he has to play a certain way? I don't know, but I didn't see extraordinary athleticism when he was at Duke. And you know, there's an athletic league, but doesn't mean that he can't be great because everybody knocked Larry Bird's lack of athleticism, but Larry Bird was all-time great. So I'm not saying that Boozer can't do all these things, but I think they need a higher powered Maserati, you know, out there on the court with Josh, so he can run, throw alley oops, and you know he can get alley oops from the other guy, you know, and I think trying to build their team out uh, so they can play fast. They want to play fast. They want to shoot a bunch of threes, and I don't know if adding Boozer helps that cause. Not that he wouldn't be a good player.
Coach, who you got, Knicks or Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals, and how many games?
Well, I'm hoping that the Knicks win and get to the finals again before all their old fans pass away.
Real talk. Real talk.
Think,
53 years, Coach. It's been 53 years.
Yeah, and that's a long time, and they've been close. But here's the thing: I look at the matchup as Cleveland's got Donovan Mitchell, who's physically gifted, and you know, skill-wise, he's very talented. They got James Harden, who is not what James Harden used to be, but James Harden could pick up the slack on most nights, like he did in Detroit in Game 5. He really was the key to that game. They're big guys. How are the Knicks going to deal with their big guys? Because the Knicks like to play small as well. But, you know, they're tough, and they've been through the battle, and they're hungry. And a lot of times that makes a difference. You know, it's not so much that they had to learn, but they've gotten beat because they weren't good enough, and they know their window is closing as well. So I always do this. I always have a feeling for who's going to win, but then who I want to win. I think Cleveland's going to win, but I want New York to win.
Really?
Wow. Wow.
If Donovan Mitchell comes out and gets to the basket, and those two big guys are there, and they also block shots on the other end. I mean, we talk about Wemby's defense, Cleveland's defense. It's just got to be a game plan that becomes their DNA. And I saw it in that one game, and I've seen it before in some games during the season, but you don't see it consistently. It's like, I got to be that man. I got to be the guy that everybody talks about, the 30 points and whatever, ever. But winning the game might take a little bit of sacrifice on Donovan's perspective, just to make sure that all those guys are in there, because they can score. It's not like they got big guys that can't make layups. I mean, I've seen that many nights on TV as well. Can't even throw the ball to them, can't catch it, can't finish. So you got two guys that are very skilled, and you got two guards that are very skilled, and then you got some perimeter players that can really shoot the ball. Max Strus got hot one night. I think he thought he was hot last night too. He started out shooting the ball.
Right. 0
for 2, and then
Agreed.
Merrill took over. Right,
Mhm.
and then Wade can make shots. So they got what it takes to win it. It's just, can they be consistent in their style of play? Can they be consistent in their effort? And are they going to defense on the same level that they? It's easy, not easy. It's easier to defend a team that doesn't have a lot of weapons that you have to worry about.
Correct.
They took Cade Cunningham out of the game, and contrary to what Charles and Shaq and all those guys talk about with the young kid Durden gets dunks on alley-oops and drop-offs. They're not throwing the ball. And he got 19 because Cade Cunningham is really, really good. And with their defense, getting steals and running, he can run and finish. But to say that he should be averaging more points when the opportunities aren't there in those situations is an untruth.
So, Coach, I hear a lot of pro Cleveland in there. And so, but if you have a feeling that the Cavs are going to win this series, I'm sensing that maybe there's some hesitation or maybe a concern that you have on the New York side. No,
I know what New York's going to do. They're going to put Bridges on Harden, and they're going to put Hart on Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And my man Brunson float around on one of the shooters. They don't really move much.
Who's OG guarding?
Who?
Who's OG going to guard? Mobley?
OG is guarding Mobley.
Yeah.
That's who he's going to guard. And he'll probably do a good job because he's physical and he's athletic. But the kid is very talented. He showed it when he got the ball in the post. They're not bad. They're not able to stop him. Not just in drop-offs, but then they throw it to him and he goes in there, he shoots a left hand, and he's a good player. And he's growing.
Do you have Carl Anthony? Do you have Carl Anthony Towns concerns at all for this series?
Yeah, because he's going to try to bully. He's going to try to bully whoever's guarding. He gets the ball, he shows it, and he puts his head down, and he drives to the basket, and he runs over 3 people, and he gets a foul. And if he's making threes, it's going to be even harder. And I'm not knocking it. That's what I see when I see him play.
Yeah.
Everybody runs out there and tries to take that step, and now he puts it on the floor, and he puts that body up. He's at the basket. He's going to the foul line. It's bully ball. And he's found out that he can get the foul by doing that. He doesn't have to stand out there and shoot the threes all the time. But the key is he has to stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah.
He has to get them in foul trouble, and he has to stay out of foul trouble. But it's going to be a great series. And I say what I say, but I still tell you I'm rooting for the Knicks, so I must believe that the Knicks have a chance.
Right.
And I do. And so they got to start Brunson. Who's going to – Donovan going to guard Brunson?
Right.
I know Harden's not going to guard Brunson, right? And if those other guys just run and attack, it's going to be tough for them to stay. Because OG has to get the ball and get FGAs. He cannot have 3 or 4 shots in a game.
Mm-hmm.
That's my feeling. And then now you got Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench. Ooh, they're Mr. Bully right there, right? So they have a legitimate chance, and I'm hoping that they do.
So Coach, I
I'm
think the
also
Knicks are.
go ahead.
No, no, I think the Knicks are going to win the series. I think the concern for the Cavs, they had this knock on them or this narrative around them that they were a soft team. And you can tell they overcame that hurdle against Detroit in this series. They bullied the Pistons in game 7. Yeah, the Pistons were probably physically and mentally tired. Cade Cunningham in particular, because he's carried the Pistons all season long. But I think the Cavs expended so much emotional and physical energy coming out of this Pistons series. Are they going to have anything left for the Knicks? I fully, you know how this is. You play game 7 on a Sunday night, you fly to New York last night, you have today to recover, then you're right into a game 1 against a team that has been resting for the past week to 10 days. To me, game 1 is important, very important for both the Knicks and the Thunder to win their series in the respective conferences. My only concern for the Cavs, will they have enough? Because I think they got rid of the soft moniker that's been heaped on them. Will they have enough to go at the Knicks physically and mentally at the start of this series and on throughout the series?
Well, I don't buy into the narrative that, you know, Cade Cunningham had been leaned on all year long and he was tired. Man, everybody's tired of this. That's where the
True.
mental comes in. And that's where I rate New York over Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
They're mentally tough. They have some just straight up tough guys. They can go down the alley with me anytime, and I'm not even looking. Right? They got 4 or 5 of those guys. So I just think it's going to come down. The rest that they had also takes away the rhythm that they had. You know, that plays a big part. And I go back to when we played, we had to set 10 or 11 days because Philly went 7 games with Houston. And while we're at home resting, trying to recreate energy at practice and the competition level at practice that it was going to take to play in the game. We go back to Philly, we get beat both games. We have 30 and 34 turnovers in 2 games, right? We come back home, now we got rhythm back. Those games were throwaway. They were exhibition games for us. We didn't think of it that way because we thought we were in bad place. But then we got it together and we got our confidence back and they couldn't play with us. So, you know, it's a little bit of both. And the way I like it is that the first game is really meaningless. Even if the road team wins, you know, it's just the beginning of the series. Somebody had to win that game. It's not going to be a sweep. And usually the next game, the other team gets the win. It's 1-1 and you're going back to the other venue to play. And it just, you know, I just don't buy the narratives that are out there by a lot of people that say, the only one I do buy is out of rhythm rest. You like to play, even during the season, every other day is great. If you get a couple of days off, that's great. But if you take 4 or 5 days off, whatever you had is gone. You got to recreate it again.
Excellent points. The great Coach Lionel Hollins is hanging out with us on Beyond the Surface. Got to ask you about San Antonio and OKC, Coach. Who wins and how many games?
Well, I'm like everybody else. They tore SGA and OKC a new butthole during the season. Everywhere they played them, every kind of way they beat them, 4 out of 5. But it's a new day. It's like whatever happened in the regular season, you know, there's a screen that went down, and when you look over there, it's just a black screen. There's nothing behind it that can help you. You got to go do it again. And I think that it'll be a great series because of that. And but I am picking San Antonio. And I love OKC. I love that. Those 2 teams. I watch them whenever I can on TV. Those 2 teams, because I love the way they play. I love the way they move the ball, share, and help each other, and play the game to win versus just playing to get numbers.
Coach, I'm curious. Do you believe that the Spurs are the only team that can beat OKC in a 7-game series, with everybody healthy?
Can I go back to last year? How many series did OKC almost lose?
Well, the
It
finals
was
for sure.
The finals for
that's
sure.
right. It
Two.
was two series
Denver,
that
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and the
Denver and
Denver series
Indiana.
went 7.
yeah,
Yes, good call.
Denver.
they can be beat. They
Uh-huh.
have to execute and make all the plays to win. That's why they're the winners. Now they have to do it again, be the winners again, right? Uh, there's going to be a big test for them because this is a team that's going to challenge their ability to get to the paint, and they're going to have to shoot the ball extremely well. They don't have to shoot threes, but they're going to have to shoot the ball extremely well, and then they're going to have to defend that team as well, and they can't get in foul trouble. They got a lot more depth than probably all the teams in the league, so they could absorb some of the foul trouble, but they want to stay out of foul trouble, and they got some matchup problems, and they got people that are going to be in front of SGA and the other guys, but Jay Williams is coming back good. AJ Mitchell is my favorite. He's my favorite player. He's the best player in the NBA this year.
There you go. I'm hip. There you go.
Stamp.
This
Love
guy
this
was
stamp.
sitting on a bench last year, and part of this year he got a chance to play, and he's shown that he's bona fide. It reminds me of SGA when he was in with the Clippers. He wasn't getting the opportunity to do because he was young. He gets traded and he becomes the man. I don't think this guy is going to get traded or become the man like that, but he's going to be because he can score, he dribbles, he makes plays, he's tough. Those are the kind of guys you like pulling off the bench and putting in the game when somebody gets hurt. And they show up and you're like, better than I thought, right?
A lot of people, Coach, don't remember. Like you said, he was in the rotation at the beginning of last year, but then he got hurt, right? And then it was
Yeah.
too late by the end of the season for him to be acclimated back into the rotation. But this year, he has taken advantage of every opportunity, whether Jalen Williams was healthy or not. AJ Mitchell is supplanted in that rotation. And ultimately, he might be the difference in this Spurs series. But I'm with you. I think the Spurs are going to win. But AJ Mitchell will make his mark in this
Well, you
Western
think about
Conference final.
Jay Williams is coming back, AJ
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell, and then you got SGA, and then you got
Yeah.
Hogan, and then you got all those guys that just lay around on the perimeter and shoot threes.
Uh-huh.
Do it very well, and then they all defend and they all run. It's going to be a good series. It's
It's going to
not
be a good
going to be,
series.
I could see it going 7. I really could.
Coach Hollins, I got one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, now, look, outside of these incredible conference finals, now that we've got the 4 teams, and I think a lot of us wanted to see those 4 teams at the end, a lot of fans out there in the NBA, there's one other major storyline outside of these games at this point, what's going to come to the head in the next couple of weeks, and that is the Giannis Antetokounmpo sweepstakes. But I want to ask you the question from the side of Milwaukee. We've debated this a lot on the show all year. Not about where Giannis is going, not with any of that. What should Milwaukee do, in your opinion? Do they need to get back a star and continue going down this road and try and build on somebody else? Or should they wipe the slate clean themselves, get back as many assets, draft picks that they possibly can, and start from the bottom? What would you like to see them do? What should they do?
Well, they probably are going to have to start from the bottom. I don't think if they keep him, what are they going to get around him? They were bad last year. I think the biggest mistake that Milwaukee made was firing the head coach when he had a 30-13 record. I don't know. I heard that Giannis was a little upset about this or that. That's when management has to step in and say, "Hey, you're winning. Isn't that what you're all about? You're fussing about how the coach says something or does something because you want to do it this way, but you're still, even if you won a championship, you're still a player. And coaches have to make decisions, but they got rid of him. Doc came in. They couldn't generate the defense that they thought Doc could do, and they didn't do very much offensively. And then Giannis was in and out, right? And so he's hurt, and he can't contribute the way he was. And that, it just fell apart. Some of the guys they had just weren't good enough to help him be on that level winning wise. But if I'm the general manager, I'm thinking, okay, we got Giannis. Can we get 2 first-round picks and maybe a high middle first-round picks and maybe a third low, right? Who wants to do this for us? Or if we can get 3, we get 2 this year and 2 next year. We can't do that because you can't get back to back. But you hear what I'm saying. You hear what I'm saying. I'm just saying, what's the most? But you got to have your scouts out there that scout the NBA, looking at teams and who they have that could really play if they were away from the group that they're with. See, there's a lot of guys when they leave that group, they're just average players. But there's a couple of guys that once they get that opportunity, can they step in and be something that could help us build back up to the level that we were on? But keeping him and having him be unhappy and not being able to build around it. If he's unhappy this year, he's going to really be unhappy next year when you can't put players around and help him win. And he's out there getting 38 and 14 rebounds and doing all that he can do and still losing. He's not going to be happy.
Coach, one more for you and we'll let you go. Could we get a story from the Grindhouse era? You, of course, the grind father. Just, a funny one, a Tony Allen, a Zach Randolph. I mean, you had characters on that team. Maybe take us into a practice, take us into a huddle, but do you have a funny Grindhouse story for us?
Well, I told you all my stories when I was on your show last time.
I know there's more in there. I know you got more.
I'll just I'll give you 2. One is about Zach by himself, and I think I told you the story. But we're in OKC playing, and we lose a game in OKC, and it's during the playoffs, and I'm upset. It's a close game. We're fighting like crazy, and we come in the locker room, and I said, players are sitting, and I start talking. And I said, we got to be tougher than that. That's what we pride ourselves on, being tough. I said, Zach, man, you were under the basket and you had a chance to take a charge and you jumped out of the way. Zach stood up and started walking to me and he said, what are you saying? And he keeps walking and I trying to figure out, okay, what do I say to disarm him? I said, Zach, all I'm saying is Mike Conley is 6'1", weighs 175 pounds. He took a charge. You had a chance to take a charge, but you jumped out of the way. You're bigger than him and you're tougher than him. We all know that. He went and sat out. I asked one of my assistant coaches, I said, JJ, you were going to grab him before he got to me. But, the other story is with Tony and Zach. I could tell stories all day about all those guys. But Tony and Zach, Zach wanted to play 48 minutes. He wanted the ball every time down court. That was just Zach. And so I take him out of the game, and Zach walks over. The ball boy meets him at half court, gives him a towel, gives him his warm up. He walks by me and he throws the towel at my feet. And I don't say nothing. He's upset. Me saying something then wouldn't matter. It's just going to escalate. So he goes to the bench. Now I take Tony out of the game. And Tony is gambling, and I used to tell him, Tony, quit getting mad at everybody else for not helping you when nobody knows what you're doing. You got to at least tell what you're doing, right? And so I take him out of the game. He walks down the middle of the court from the other free throw line, through the jump circle, through the free throw circle, to the baseline, and makes a left turn and goes to the end of the bench. That's great. They both went sit down. I didn't get beat up. Right? And so the next day at practice, we're watching film and everybody's getting critiqued. And afterwards, I said, Tony, Zach, I got something for both of you. Because you could talk to both of them in that setting and they would not be upset. But in the heat of the battle, both of them might choke you. I mean, and when I say that, there's other players that are like that too. Mark was close to that, but not on that level. I mean, they just are very competitive people, and their focus is on winning. And when you say something, it just doesn't fit. Well, anyway, I just want both of you guys to know something. Zach, don't think that I don't notice when you walk by me and throw your towel at my feet. Tony, I see you walk down the middle of the court and don't want to shake my hand. And I said, I understand both of you are mad at me, but I got one thing I want you to know. I took you out because I was mad at both of y'all. And Tony made the comment. He said, Coach, how did you know? I'm like, hey, I'm watching you walk from the other end. I want to shake your hand. I want to pat you on the butt. Say, I'm going to put you back in the game, but you don't want to hear nothing I have to say. So obviously I know. And they both laughed at it. And the team laughed because the team also do. It's just, but it's the personality of talented, competitive players. And I've never been upset at players telling me what they want, because ultimately it's going to be my decision, and they're going to have to accept it. And that's just the way it is. I always say, when they put head coach by your locker instead of what your name is, then you can coach a team. Or like Cotton Simmons used to tell me and Paul Westphal, when you guys get your team, we can run that offense. But as long as I'm coaching the team, we're running this offense. So I learned a lot of funny stuff from guys I worked for and played for. I got another story. This is not Grindfather. This is Jack Ramsey. We're in Milwaukee, and they got Brian Winters, and they got all the big guys that are setting picks for him, and he's running. I'm getting hitting the hip, hitting the shoulder, and he's just getting a shot off just as I get there. He's going to wind up with 38 for the night, but he's torching me, absolutely torching me. Jack Ramsey calls timeout. This is the fourth quarter, and we're sitting down. He says, Herm Gilliam. Herm was my backup. He said, I want you to go and get Dave Torzik. And he said, I want you to guard Brian Winters. He said, Train, you guard Quinn Buckner. I said, no, I got him. Let me. He says, you guarded him enough tonight. I was so mad I could have hit him. I always said, I'm not going to fight my coach, and I'm not that kind of person anyway. But it was like, dang, you just hurt my feelings. You just knocked my ego down. They were down there in my socks. I had to pull them out of my socks. But he was right. We needed somebody else to try to stop him because I certainly couldn't that night.
Phenomenal. Coach, we love you. We would love to have you back on the show, soon, maybe finals times. And again, love the endeavor here with Memphis to unite Memphis and make it a much better community. You rock for that, man. We really appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you. I got one thing to say to Anthony. With your intensity, you could have played for me. You might not have been able to play, but you would have been on the court because you got some great intensity. I like that.
I love it. Well, we appreciate the compliment, Coach. We really do. And all the great storytelling, all the predictions. Guys, remember, he said he's got a feeling the Cavs win, but he's pulling for the New York Knicks. So yes. I like how you played that right there. Coach Hollins, we love you, man. We'll talk soon, okay? Thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks, Thank you. Enjoyed it. Honored.
As always. It is our honor. He's the best. Coach Hollins is the best. I asked him for one story. He gave us three, okay? And one of them was unprompted. What a stud. What an absolute star. Okay, so let's now bring on Justin Rowan, who is a Cavaliers insider, the Chase Down podcast. Jason, welcome to Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. Rick Kamla, below me, A.M. Pfeffer. Of course, Dwight Walton. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. That was an honor to just get to listen to Lionel Hollins. He's good.
Justin, what is happening, my man? What's good?
Not too much. I'm blown away that Game 7 went down that way. I felt that the Cavs had a chance to go out and win that game. Obviously, they had demonstrated in Game 5 that they could go to Detroit and win that in Detroit. But for it to go down that way, I don't think anybody saw that coming.
So go ahead, Rick.
Go ahead, Dwight. Sure. No. Go ahead, sir.
So Justin, I asked Coach Hollins this question that I'm going to ask you. I believe the Cleveland Cavaliers overcame a huge hurdle, knocking away the narrative, the moniker that they're a soft basketball team. They expended so much energy, both physically, mentally, and physically, in the Pistons series. And it's tough to go from game 7 to game 1 2 nights from now. So is game 1 a throwaway game of this series? 2, have the Cavaliers gotten rid of their soft moniker? And 3, do the Cavaliers have enough, both mentally and physically, to win this series?
Well, I'll start with, game 1. I think back to when the Cavs went to 4 straight NBA finals, and a lot of the times they were sitting there waiting for the Golden State Warriors, right? The Warriors are having this tough competition against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's going 7 games. They have to come back from 3-1, and the Cavs are sitting there rested. And you think that that's an advantage, but then you come out and you're playing against a team that is already in top gear. They are locked in. They've been playing win or die basketball for a while now. I think that the Cavs having these 2 extended series beforehand, I think it might be an advantage at the start of the series, and it can be more of a detriment as the series goes on. I think the tired legs might start to kick in a little bit later in the series. But I actually don't think game 1 is a punt game. I think you come out and you try to steal that one versus a team that hasn't played competitive basketball series. Like that Sixers series was just a complete blowout. They've been off for a while. I think it might be an advantage for the Cavs in that game. As for the soft moniker, it's the NBA, right? If they come out and they lose to the Knicks in the same way that they lost a couple years ago, those same storylines and narratives are going to be there, particularly if they're giving up a lot of offensive rebounds and losing in a very similar way. But I do think the fact that they've now played multiple playoff series where they've gone against some really, really tough physical teams, Toronto Raptors, Detroit Pistons, even thinking a couple of years ago, the Orlando Magic, like that's a big, tough physical team. And you won game 7s versus all 3 of those teams with this group. I think it definitely is something in their favor. I think that that's something that they can hold their hat on. And I think the most important thing is finding ways to diversify and play with a balanced offensive approach rather than trying to go out there and have one guy do everything for them.
Justin, I owe you an apology. I had a Freudian slip earlier. I called you Jason when I brought you in. My bad on that.
No
will not happen again. Got you. Thank you for being cool about that. Justin Rowan, host of the Chase Down podcast, hanging out with us. Justin, I'm a big Evan Mobley fan. He's on my team in the Cam Dynasty. Okay, it's a dynasty league. And when we started it up, I targeted Cade Cunningham and Evan Mobley. Bang, bang. I've won 2 championships with those guys. I did not win this year. Yes, I'm still pissed about it, but I have been along the ride for the entire but I'm not a sore loser. I want you to know that. But so I've been along the ride here with Evan Mobley. I heard about the Anthony Davis comps, the Chris Bosh comps when he was coming out of USC and all this stuff, right? And I feel like there's more to Evan Mobley than we're getting, and we understand why. Great composition of team around him, usage rate, shots, all that kind of stuff. I'll finally get to the question, Justin. I promise. Did you? I felt Evan Mobley more in the Detroit series than I've ever felt Evan Mobley on the hardwood. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. I agree. And if you look at the playoffs, the games that the Cavs have won in this postseason, Evan Mobley has led the team in front court touches. So not carrying the ball up and all that, but in the half court, Evan Mobley is kind of the focal point of their offense. And in their wins over the Detroit Pistons, Evan Mobley was averaging 6 assists. He was the second on the team in terms of assists. And it's been some of the best playmaking that I've seen, some of the decision makings he's making out of the short roll. There was a conversation back when it was Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell of, can you win with a small backcourt? The real question is, can you win with your 2 best players being guards? Regardless of what the size is, the only time you see teams win with 2 guards as the best players on the team, typically you have someone in the front court that's able to take pressure off of the defense. Think of the Golden State Warriors with Stephen Clay. Draymond Green led the team in assists. You couldn't trap the Warriors and bottle up their offense at that point of attack because you had Draymond Green, you had Andre Iguodala, you had Kevin Durant able to kind of run some offense from the front court positions. Even Andrew Bogut was a very good passer as a big man as well. So I think Evan Mobley has been fulfilling that role for the Cavs. And even though they're wearing those old 07 throwback jerseys at times throughout these playoffs, there is no LeBron James out there, right? There is no one guy that can be the engine and do absolutely everything for the Cavs out there. They need to play as a collective. They need to play balanced basketball. And I think making sure that Evan Mobley is involved on the offensive end is an essential part of that.
So, listen, the Cavs, we follow the NBA. We follow all the teams. You follow the Cavs specifically. Talk about the contributions, because we have a discussion on our group, in our group chat, and on our podcast here, the importance, or who should start, Dean Wade or Max Strus. And I'm always on the side of Dean Wade because analytically, he's a winning defender. Although Max Strus may be the more offensively talented player, I just think Dean Wade balances the starting lineup. But last night in Game 7, all bets are on. All hands are on deck. Coach Atkinson went to Strus in the starting lineup. What is your opinion in terms of balancing the lineup offensively, or are you on the opposite end of where Dean Wade sort of gives the Cavs a counterbalance, if you will, by being the defensive stopper on the opposition's most talented and offensive player?
I'm really torn on this. Like, if you look at the tracking data for the season, Jalen Brunson, when he was defended by Dean Wade, shot 1 of 15, right? And I expect Brunson to be better than that. Yeah, I think even if you look at some of the regular season stats for like VJ Edgecombe and Dyson Daniels, you're going to see similar splits, and he was able to get his. The thing about starting Dean Wade is all of a sudden when you go to the bench, when you go to those single big lineups, now all of a sudden you're playing someone 6'5" or smaller at power forward next to the bigs, right? And the Cavs, when they give up second chance opportunities, it's typically in those one big configurations. It's not with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen out there. So if you're bringing Dean Wade in off of the bench, now you have that 6'10" guy that's able to play at the power forward position. I do worry about the Cavs' point of attack defense. I worry about their ability to contain Jalen Brunson. But I think there's an argument that if you're starting Strus, that's probably where you're able to get at least the most help and containment on the back end when it comes to Evan Mobley and Jared Allen out there. And in those single big configurations, now you have Dean Wade out there. You can have him as a factor in the pick and roll defense. The one thing, though, and going to your point of how Dean completes that starting lineup, if you have Dean Wade out there guarding Jalen Brunson, now all of a sudden you probably have Evan Mobley on Karl Anthony Towns in the pick and roll. Now you can kind of switch that and still feel very comfortable. You feel good about Evan Mobley's ability to stick with Brunson and contain him. And Dean Wade can switch on to Karl Anthony Towns, at least when it comes to those pick and pop perimeter actions. So I think from that standpoint, there's an argument in Dean's favor for sure.
Just want you to know how down I am. I want you to know.
Aren't those throwbacks great, Rick? Aren't those just awesome?
I freaking love this jersey right here. I always suck at getting it on camera, but look at that logo. That is such a cool logo. Super throwback, but I rock this down in Clearwater, Florida, dude. He's on the Cam Dynasty. I rep your boy Mobley, man. He's one of my faves. AM, go ahead with a question, my friend.
Justin, great to meet you. Thank you for coming on the show. Let's talk money. We got to do it. The Cavs, and a lot of people may not know this, they're the only second apron team in the NBA, right? All worth it because they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. Finally, after year 9, Donovan gets his due. What does the future hold for us? I mean, I'm looking beyond what happens here with the Knicks, regardless, or if they get to the finals and all of that. I mean, you basically got Mobley and Spider expected to make $50 million next year. But, outside of Jared Allen, and let's not even bring in, Harden at the moment, who can opt in. But, of course, he's looking for something long-term because he always is for 2 or 3 years, whatever it may be. I mean, you got guys like Schroeder and Strus and Merrill, and even Jalen Tyson, who's not even playing. Like, these guys are on the hook for a lot of money next year if you want to keep them. Like, let's play GM for a second. What do you do? What do you think the future holds to keep this thing going?
I think your kind of most flexible piece there would be Dennis Schroeder. If you're parting with someone, I think they like Tyrese Proctor a lot. Coming out of Duke, he's given them really good minutes. I think the hope is that this is a guy that can have that Jalen Tyson type leap next season and kind of insulate you there. Craig Porter Jr. also gave them really good minutes off the bench. So if you're looking to duck under the second apron, I think that's the way you go about it. Jalen Tyson, he's going to be an important part of this, right? Like he's going to be up for an extension in a couple of years, but I think he is an essential role piece for them. The biggest question is going to be what do they do with Dean Wade, right? He's up for a contract extension. He's a free agent this offseason, and they don't have an internal option, right? Like I can talk about the internal options if you're moving off of Schroeder and some of these other guys, but he is basically the only backup power forward. And that's one of those areas where you don't want to be relying on Dean Wade as much as you are, but there really isn't an option there. So I do expect them to probably run back a lot of this group when it comes to next season. I expect James Harden to probably be back on an extension as well. But you make that James Harden
trade. Can I ask, what do you think that extension looks like, if I may? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on Harden and specifically Jarrett Allen. I mean, Mobley's probably going to say he's going to get paid. What's going to happen with Allen
I think it'll be
with Harden?
Yeah, I think it'll be a 2-year deal, right? Like the reporting around the trade deadline was what he was looking for from the Clippers was around 2 years, $80 million. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that with the Cavs, right? Like the reality of this collective bargaining agreement is you're only able to be in the second apron 2 out of 5 years, right? So when you're looking at what the Cavs did at the trade deadline, where Darius Garland, even though he's playing well through the injury, he's on 9 toes, right? You can't waste one of those 2 out of 5 years for someone that's in this situation. So Cavs front office had belief that, hey, this team, we're not able to punt one of these years. We can't just sit here and hope that he gets better next season. James Harden's going to make us better this season. And I think the move was made with both this season and next season in mind. So I expect them for the most part to kind of run back this core group.
All right.
So one of our great audience members, Justin, Correa Gage, who happens to be in our WNBA fantasy league. I took an L last week to Dr. Knob. You guys, I mean, it was an epic clash. Like we both scored over 1,000 points. Epic clash. But I'm not a sore loser. Dr. Knob got me. He won't get me next time, though. That's a promise. Correa Gage asks, actually, I can't promise that. I don't actually know that. I hope. Okay. Correa Gage says, how long is the championship window for the Cleveland Cavaliers? Great question, Correa. I mean, pardon me, Justin. I would say sarcastically, is it even open? No. This just jokes, Justin. It's just jokes. It's just jokes. Go ahead, sir.
I think that's a fair question. I mean, you look at how damn good the Oklahoma City Thunder are and what Wemby's going to be doing to the league. I think that's a fair question, right? Like looking back on last season, I felt like the Thunder's lack of experience, maybe they were a little bit vulnerable, right? They went deep against that Pacers series. This might be a better version of them, but I think the window's these next 2 years, and then you have to kind of have some hard conversations, right? Maybe you're retooling, even though you don't have all of your draft picks. You're not going to blow up all the way, but you might consider, all right, what can we do from a flexibility standpoint? Are we going to pivot and go a little more alongside the Evan Mobley timeline, right? And maybe it's Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, Jalen Tyson, Donovan Mitchell, if he's willing to take some sort of discount or take a bit of a backseat, which the one thing I'll say about Donovan Mitchell from a leadership standpoint is he's always understood, and the messaging has always been, hey, for us to reach where we got to go, Evan's got to be that guy. He's got to be that main piece for the Cavs, right? And I've been really, really impressed with his, the unselfishness and the way that he's empowered guys. Even last season, right? Like he gave the offensive reins to Darius Garland, and he gave the defensive reins to Evan Mobley, and he kind of took a back seat in the regular season. So I think Donovan absolutely can be part of that equation. The money is always going to be difficult, but one of the things that the Cavs have done a really good job of is finding value in the margins, finding undrafted guys, developing players, right? Like Jalen Tyson was a first-round pick, but he went down and he played with the Charge last season, right? He had games where he played for the Charge and the Cavs in the same day, right? In the era of low management, we're talking playing two games in one day, right? So they've also found Dean Wade as an undrafted player. Sam Merrill was in their G League system. Craig Porter Jr. undrafted. So they're going to have to get creative if they keep this team together. I think the most important thing is going to be that player development aspect of things.
Justin, There was a part, I don't know if it was in and around the trade deadline, late January, early February, to where Evan Mobley wasn't playing well.
Yeah.
And I believe quietly, there might have been internal discussions about looking at acquiring Giannis Antetokounmpo. Can you answer yes or no to those rumors?
I'm sure the Cavs explored everything. I think if Evan Mobley was actually on the table, my feeling is the Bucks might have pulled the trigger, right? And you know, I'm going to defer to guys like Shams and you know, all the insiders that do the good work on whether or not that was actually there. But I would honestly have some concerns about that pairing, right? I think in a lot of ways, Donovan Mitchell and Giannis Antetokounmpo is very similar to Dame Lillard and Giannis, right? And Donovan isn't the playmaker that Dame was, and that was an awkward fit, right? So, I of course, like I think if they would have lost in the first 2 rounds, I think that might have been something you revisit in the offseason. And I think the real conversation would be, all right, let's take a look at every direction, right? Like, let's take a look at taking a step back. Let's take a look at our win now moves. And what out of these 2 paths is actually the most viable route that we can go here? Like, what are the offers available in both of these directions, and what do we feel is the most coherent path forward? But I think what Evan Mobley's been doing this postseason, I really do think that he has been the best player for the Cavs over 2 rounds here, right? And James has done his part. He's made the evaluation process easier. He even in Game 7 didn't shoot well, but I didn't think he was ever actively harmful, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things is taking care of the basketball, making sure everybody's involved. And if he's doing that, I'm comfortable with some swings in the overall efficiency.
Plus 31, right, Justin. Plus 31.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
Justin, let's just say for whatever reason he decides to do this, a billionaire decides to take the veterans minimum and play for $4 million for the Cavs next year. Do you personally want to see LeBron on the team as part of the run next year?
Absolutely. Look, I'm wearing a Cavs hoodie here. If he's taking the minimum, like, who's not going to take LeBron James on the minimum, right? And I do think, right. And I do think that, you know, there's avenues too if they're able to get under the second apron, like let's say the Schroeder move or whatever the case may be. I think they are actually able to get up to a mid-level exception in some way. I'm not the strongest on the cap, but I do think that there are avenues to that. So, you know, all of a sudden, the conversation of who starts at small forward, it's not Dean Wade and Max Strus. You all of a sudden have a very, very simple decision. And going back to what I said before, guard-orientated teams need to have front court playmaking. LeBron James is one of the best front court playmakers we've ever seen. So I think that would be a very easy decision.
I have one last question for you, Justin. It is James Harden specific. Is in the Knicks series, do you anticipate and project him to be a driver or a passenger? Because he was a passenger in Game 7. And I liked what you said. He didn't get in the way. He didn't negatively impact the game. And you know, I love the big fella down there. But he's hit me with plus minus. And I'm like, dude, they beat him by 70 points. Of course his plus minus is fantastic. So I'm just curious, like driver or passenger? Because like I said, my perception was he was a passenger in Game 7, yet they still won. And I'm not hating, just observing, but driver or passenger?
I think he needs to be a driver in terms of offense needs to flow through him. I don't think you want Donovan Mitchell creating and initiating every single play, right? Like the Cavs, when they've lost in the playoffs the last few years, despite all the conversations, it's been their offense failing them. Like even going back a few years ago when they lost against the Knicks, they actually had the best defensive rating in the playoffs. Those offensive rebounds they gave up hurt because they couldn't score. They couldn't, go out there and initiate. And a big part of it the last 2 years has been Darius gets hurt, and all of a sudden Donovan needs to run the offense, and nobody else gets involved, right? The Pacers famously did not double. They did not pressure. They didn't give Donovan those easy passing lanes and said, we'll live with you as a scorer. James Harden gets everybody else involved. So it might not be from a field goal attempt standpoint, but I think he is essential to making sure Donovan's getting easier catch and shoot looks, making sure that Evan Mobley's getting his touches, making sure Jared Allen is getting involved offensively. The Knicks struggle when it comes to their rim protection. The Knicks actually give up more wide open threes than the Cavs do on the season. They're one of the worst 3-point defense teams in the league. just through 2 rounds, opponents are shooting 31% on those completely wide open, uncontested looks. So I think if James Harden is initiating the offense and they're putting pressure on the Knicks on the inside, you can play that inside out basketball where all of a sudden Donovan is getting those easier catch and look opportunities. Sam Merrill, Max Strus, these guys are getting those clean looks that help the Cavs keep up with the Knicks offensively.
Any final questions for Justin?
So
yeah,
this is for
prediction time.
Justin, you can answer this, Justin, too. So after Justin's fantastic analysis, do you give the Cavs, because I think most of us, if not all of us, are taking the Knicks in this series. Has he swayed your opinion about the Cavs having a chance in this series? Remember, Coach Hollins is already taking the Cavs to win. So what say you guys?
I think the Cavs have a chance. Absolutely. I don't see sweep. I don't see the Knicks coming out and doing what they did the last 7 games, this, that, the other. So absolutely. I mean, I'm still picking the Knicks, and I kind of want to hear what Justin, where he's at afterwards. We should wait to get his prediction on this. But yes, they absolutely have a chance. This is it, man. They've built to this period. And like we're talking about, Mobley is playing well. Harden's going to show up when he needs to a couple games in this series, and we're going to see. They have the size, they have plenty of depth. They're a very good team. Rick knows I've never come off them, and this is the matchup. This is the series to see. This is not a foregone conclusion for the Knicks by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I'm very curious. It's amazing. Like OG Anunoby's probably a top 5 perimeter defensive player in the NBA, and yet he's probably the worst defender that Donovan's seen so far these playoffs because of Scotty Barnes and Asar Thompson. Asar's a freak. Seeing him live, it was just absolutely unbelievable. I do think the key is going to be that Evan Mobley versus Karl Anthony Towns matchup. Like the Knicks hit another gear running offense through Cat. If Evan's winning that matchup and he's taking him out of it, the Cavs have a chance. I think the Knicks should be favored in the series. Like if you play it 100 times, maybe it's 60-40 Knicks. But I think that the Cavs, having gone through those 2 series, are more prepared for this Knicks matchup than they would have been if this occurred in the second round. I think this is a better version of this Cavs team than the one that came into the playoffs, where they didn't have a single 5-man unit that played 100 minutes this regular season. Their most used regular season lineup played 82 minutes together, and it featured Darius Garland and DeAndre Hunter. So I think this is a Cavs team that's starting to find a rhythm and is much, much more capable of competing against a team like the Knicks than before. So I'm going to pick Cavs in 6. I'm going to go one of the 40 outcomes. I'm going to go one of the 40 outcomes. I'm going to channel my inner homerism here, but I do think that there is a realistic outcome here.
So I don't think I've ever seen a more ruthless and disrespectful offensive foul more than Asar Thompson absolutely trucking like an 18-wheeler, crushing some Pinto that's pulled over at the side of the highway, and the driver gets a little wonky and bam, and that car just disintegrates. There's nothing left of it. That's what Asar did to Sam Merrill. And Sam Merrill, when that first happened, the look on his face was, gosh dang, what just hit me? And then he was like, be tough, be tough, be tough, be tough, be tough. I know that self-talk. He's like, do not show weakness right now. Yes, you got trucked, but this is game 7, baby. By the way, Sam Merrill gets my game ball last night. I thought that was a statement play right there. Right, because he could have been, and he could have gone to the locker room. Then Asar's like, yep, got him. But no, Sam Merrill was like, pardon my French, bring that shit to me, man. But what I liked about Merrill was I thought the shot making early in the game, because Mitchell wasn't scoring, Harden wasn't scoring, but they were still up 5-7, right, whatever. I just thought it got the Cavs off to a great start, got them really confident, got them in a lather, and just got the whole thing rolling, man. So, I don't know, just a random thought. You brought up Asar Thompson, but, I've been watching hoops since like 1980. I can't remember a more ruthless charge than that one right there. And I was proud of Sam Merrill for popping back up, man.
Kenny said after
Rick,
the game he lost a tooth. I don't know if he was joking or not. If so, the Canadian. I'm proud of anyone staying in after losing a tooth.
Thank you very much. So listen, to double down on that, Rick, I'm glad you brought that up. I sent a message to one of the group chats that I'm in. I said, I've been around basketball for 40 plus years. I have never seen a charge like that in my life. In my life. Wow. And I've been around the game for over 40 years. It was incredible. Justin, one more on the Knicks Cavs series here. Do you have any concerns because there's been talk about either the Cavs or the Knicks having an advantage when they go small? Is there any concern for when the Knicks go double big with Towns and Mitchell Robinson? Because Mitchell Robinson 2 years ago had a feast on the offensive glass against a different version of the Cavs team, but Mitchell Robinson imposed his will, and some may say sucked the life out of the Cavaliers team as a whole.
He absolutely did it. And there's some concerns there. I think the Cavs are more capable of defending that lineup than they are some of those smaller configurations. My biggest concern, again, with that series, even looking back, it was when the Cavs went to the one center, when they went one big, when they were small themselves, that they gave up a lot of those opportunities. And for as dominant as Mitchell Robinson was in that series, he averaged 8 and 9. Like he had a single. It was the most impactful single of all time, but it was still a single, right? And it was, again, the Cavs had the best defensive rating in the playoffs that year. They weren't able to generate offense. I have the most concern that I have comes with when the Cavs are going smaller, right? Particularly if Dean's starting and they have to go 3-4 guards in those configurations. I think that's when the Knicks are going to go out there and get extra opportunities, and it's going to be a team rebounding effort. In the middle of that Pistons series where Detroit all of a sudden started really getting those second chance opportunities, the majority of them were coming from the perimeter players. It was guys like Dennis Jenkins coming in. Cade Cunningham had an Andre Drummond game where he had 7 offensive rebounds. They all came off his own miss. It wasn't Jalen Duren and Paul Reed and Beef Stew out there getting those second chance opportunities. It was the perimeter guys. And the same thing was true of that Knicks series, whereas RJ Barrett coming in, getting those, Josh Hart getting them. So it's going to need to be a team effort, particularly when they're smaller. I worry most about the Cavs when they do go small, right? Even going back to that Knicks series, the starting five, or at least the eventual starting five with Karis LeVert at small forward, did win its minutes against the Knicks. It's when they go small and when they don't have both bigs out there that I have most concerns.
So our guys, Jason and Kai, have the video. Go ahead and run this. Go ahead and run it. Wow. I mean, wow. Do you guys remember
legit charge? Legit.
Dude, Sam Merrill did a great job getting the feet in, taking the chest. Dwight, right? To get a charge, you got to get your feet set. You got to take the hit in the chest, and your butt's got to hit the floor. Like, all three things happen right here. Did you guys see the movie, what's the guy's name? Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy. What's that called? Identity Thief? I think that's the name of that movie.
I've never seen it. So
I've never seen it.
Justin, have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but we got to get the NFL Films music over top of this clip. Come on.
AM, have you seen Identity Thief? Oh, he's muted.
I'm on mute.
AM, have you seen Identity Thief?
I have. I've seen that movie.
Okay, so you know the scene where the 18-wheeler just hits the car and it just explodes and vaporizes. You know that scene, right? And it's yes, hilarious.
Yeah.
We just saw that on a basketball court. Man, okay, so anyway, Justin, this has been absolutely fantastic, man. Dwight, big ups for getting him on. This has been fantastic. Justin, tell our great audience about your podcast, when people can watch it, the platforms it's on, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So you can find the Chase Down podcast. If you're watching it on video, YouTube, whatever, you can go to the Cavs channel. We go live post-game throughout the postseason. Regular season, we go live twice a week. You can also find us wherever you get your podcast. You guys know where to find podcasts. Come on, it's 2026. You guys, wherever you found this one, go find us there.
I like it. Some sarcasm on the way out. Look, you guys, Yeah, Justin's feeling frisky, man. I can tell. I mean, he's vibing.
You guys got a savvy audience. I know that you guys got a savvy audience. I have faith in your audience that they can go out and find a podcast. This was a lot of fun. Rick, I've been watching you forever. This is an honor.
Thank you,
Dwight,
man.
thank you. I appreciate it. This is a lot of fun.
All right, Justin.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll be in touch. I tell you what. If the Cavaliers are in the NBA Finals, I mean, we want to have you back on. I'm not trying to like make it ultimatum-y, but definitely we will have you back on if the Cavs are in the finals. Maybe if there's a game 6 or a game 7 against the Knicks, we'll get you back on when the heat's really turned up on this series. But we're all anticipating a long series. Can't wait. Enjoy, Justin, and be well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Nice job, Dwight. Nice job. Fantastic guests right there. So I'm actually, when I get the next topic cranked up here, I'm gonna try to go to like YouTube and find the video of that so you guys can see from the movie. I did it. Dwight, you're gonna laugh your ass off, dude. It is just, and like you don't see it coming in the movie either. It's like some, and then wham! It's just a huge surprise. It is a side busting moment, man.
No, like I said, I immediately, I feel like I've seen everything. I've been around this game. I'm 61 years old. I've been playing ball since I was 11, 12. In all of my years, I have never seen a charge like that in my life. And I'm around these big, large men all the time. I've been watching college and NBA for all my life, and I've never seen anything like that. That is insanity to me. I'm surprised he got up. Look at this. He got trucked over. Then had the mental and physical toughness to go out and make more shots throughout the game. Much respect earned on Sam Merrill for me. Much respect.
I'm telling you right now, like I'm in the hospital for a week if I take that blow right there. I might not. I mean, I'm in my 50s, man, so it's not even a comparison. Last shout out to Sam Merrill. They keep running these splits on the games. Like the Cavs record without Sam Merrill this year or whatever, it was like right around 500. And the record with Sam Merrill this year was like 22 games over 500 or something like that. So he's kind of an unsung guy, but he is a super, super important role player for the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right, guys, let's go from a role player to the big boys. Okay, we have 4 teams, obviously, in the conference finals. So we are going to put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Victor Wembanyama, Jalen Brunson, and James Harden in the pressure cooker. Okay, Dwight knows on NBA radio we used to end shows with pressure burst pipes. Okay, and this isn't really that, but it's kind of that. But AM, you go first on this, man. Who has more pressure on them in the conference finals of these 4 guys? SGA, Wemby, Brunson, or Harden?
Oh, Brunson, by far. I don't even think it's close if you compare any of those 4 guys. I mean, ultimately, look, this is New York. This is the spotlight. This is what he's got to do for Mike Brown, for the entire city, for himself. He is not known as a defensive guy. I mean, the list goes on and on. SGA just won the MVP back-to-back. SGA's already got a chip. Wemby's still too young to really take too much of the brunt on this. Harden's way too old to take too much of the brunt. He's not even the guy, who everybody's looking to at this point. It is Brunson far and away. He's in the pressure cooker. I'm looking at him. I'm usually even keeled or whatever. I'm looking at you, Brunson, a little bit. I want to see it, man. I want to see you bring those Knicks to the finals. This is it. This is on you. Brunson by a landslide.
Okay. Dwight, are you that emphatic on this one?
I guess I'm a slave to James Harden because, listen, James Harden got to the NBA Finals early in his career, but then he has established a reputation of not coming up big in big games, specifically game 6 and 7. So to me, the pressure is on James Harden to get back to the NBA Finals and to sort of erase the narrative that's around him. Again, the Cavaliers went out of their way to acquire James Harden at the trade deadline because they felt he was the missing piece to help out Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and the rest of those characters, you know, to get to the finals. So, yes, he may not be the best player or the so called star on the Cavaliers, but what are we going to be saying? Are we going to be saying about James Harden if they don't get past the Knicks? Again, whether he has a lot of responsibility or a little bit of responsibility, we already know what SGA is bringing to the table. We're anticipating what Wembanyama is going to bring to the table. And yes, Brunson might be on the same level with James Harden in terms of the pressure because of the small guard, never leading a team to a championship, this, that, and the third. All that stuff is going to be said. But to me, Jalen Brunson has always come through in the clutch. He was clutch player of the year last season. So I don't think Brunson has any of those narratives hanging around him other than he's too small. James Harden has that reputation. James Harden has that narrative. Game 6 and 7 hasn't been kind. And had the Cavs lost last night, look at those numbers he put up in spite of the plus 31. We'd be killing James Harden today. So I think the most pressure is on James Harden to, at the very least, help out Donovan Mitchell and get the Cavs back to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2018.
Woo! I like it. All right. So I'll break the tie right here and create a victory for Jalen Brunson. Although, is it a victory? We're saying he's got the most pressure on him. But he's okay with this. We know that he is. Several reasons why. Guys, literally the weight of New York City is on, pardon me, Jalen Brunson's shoulders. And guys, that's a lot of concrete, okay, on a 6-footer's shoulders. But literally the most intense city on earth is living and dying with everything Brunson does, okay, everything. And you think about media markets here. Media markets create pressure. New York is the most hardcore media that we have. And you think about San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Cleveland, their markets are way softer in terms of pressure applied from media and fans. I said it with Lionel, I'll say it again. Knicks fans have waited 53 years for a championship. 53 years. Cleveland got one in 16. San Antonio got one in 14. OKC got one last year. Okay? That buildup creates pressure. Anything short of a finals would be a disaster. We've been saying that all year. You can't say that of the other three teams here. If the Cavs make the finals, I'm going to be like, are you serious, dude? Like, good for them. OKC's, they just won it. And then, I've got the Spurs winning this thing. So that's that. If the Knicks lose this series, Mike Brown might lose his job. If the Knicks lose this series, changes are probably coming to the roster. Brunson has more offensive burden on his plate than the others on this list. If Brunson doesn't score 30, the Knicks aren't beating the Cavaliers, okay? And you may be thinking about SGA, 30 a game, all this kind of stuff. Definitely true, but Jalen Williams is supposed to come back for the conference finals. So I just think that there's more of an offensive burden on Brunson than any of these other guys. So 2 for Brunson, 1 for Harden. Now, let's get to predictions. Oh, Dwight Walton, who you got? OKC or I'll start it out giving Doc's prediction, okay? The insufferable Dr. X did give us his series predictions all the way from Turkey. He's a very ambitious young man. It's just how he rolls.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
He's got OKC in 6. I love it. He's got OKC in 6. All right. Actually, let me write that down. He's got OKC in 6. By the way, I sent the YouTube video to the guys of Identity Thief. You got to go to like the end of the video. It's like a whole car chase scene, and I think the end is where the semi just blasts it. Thank you to Kai and Jason. And if you can't pull it up, that's fine too. Just some spontaneous tomfoolery.
It's up. We're watching
What is it really?
There it is.
Okay, so
No, not yet. Wait.
yeah. It's coming right here. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is Osar Thompson meeting Sam Merrill. Oh, what happened? You gotta be kidding me!
No, we lost it.
Okay, Jason, thank you. I tried, we tried. Dang, YouTube, come on, YouTube. They cut it at the exact wrong time. Anyway, Doc has OKC in 6. Dwight Walton, who wins? How many games?
I think the Spurs win it in 6. I don't want it to go 7 because I think OKC will have the advantage at home. So I want to shorten the series. I think the regular season success is weighing heavily mentally on the Thunder. They know they can lose. Lionel Hollins brought it up. I believe Justin brought it up. It's not as if you listen, the Thunder are overwhelming favorites. We understand that. But they can be beat. The Spurs have proven that the Thunder can be beat. And I know Chet Holmgren is 7-3, so he comes the closest for a team being able to assimilate in practice, in preparation for the San Antonio Spurs. But at the end of the day, he is still not Victor Wembanyama. Also, again, Coach Hollins brought up a great point. Guys getting to the rim. They will not be able to get to the rim. Shea is going to have to live in the mid-range, and he's arguably the best at shooting the mid-range. But his percentage is going to be off the hook. To me, the X factor is not one of the bigs. I think it's A.J. Mitchell for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think he's making a great name for himself. I think he's making a ton of money for himself. I've put it to our group chat. I've put it to several group chats, and I've put it to several of my friends. I've posed the question. I know it's early in his career, and the other player has a much more body of work. But if you're a team, who would you invest in? A.J. Mitchell or Austin Reeves? I'm putting that question out there. I know it's a small body of work for A.J. Mitchell. I know it's a larger sample size for Austin Reeves, but that's how much respect I have for A.J. Mitchell. Again, that being said, I'm not going to go away from my prediction. I just think the Spurs, not only are they going to win this series in 6 games, they're going to go on to win the NBA championship.
All right, duly noted. A.M. Pfeffer, who wins how many games?
Earlier this year, I bought into the narrative of Chet versus Wemby. And my turn for mea culpa. Wrong. Not even close. It's not a verse. There's nothing there. It's not even a thing. But as my friend Dwight likes to say, that being said, Chet Holmgren is his own man. He's been really damn good in these playoffs the first 8 games. Like, really good, and he's showing why he's potentially second-team All-NBA and certainly a third-team All-NBA or an All-Star and everything about him. He's going to play well, okay? SGA is SGA. Dwight, you said it best. You took the words out of my mouth. Mid-range jumper. When you're talking about 2-guard and what they got to do, he knows what he's got to do. He might not get to the line as much. He might not get into the paint as much. And he might not get to the basket as much. But the mid-range jumper is there. Everybody else on the team, it goes all the way down through 9. Why I'm picking OKC in 6? Well, one, I never came off them, so I'm not coming off them now, and I don't take much stock in the regular season. I've talked about it earlier just in this show. It's 2 very different universes. But it comes down to Steph Castle and Dylan Harper. Mm-hmm. As awesome as they've been, and I do expect them at many moments to be awesome in this series, and I cannot wait for this series. You're still talking about a second-year guy. You're still talking about a rookie. You got to go all the way back to Magic Johnson before I'm riding that train. Oklahoma City in 6. They're just going to get it done, and they got home court advantage. Oklahoma City in 6.
Our show is perfectly divided because I have San Antonio in 7. So me and the big fella are on San An. You and Doc are on OKC. Something's got to give. The Spurs, in my opinion, are the only team. I love that cliche, by the way. It's more old school than new school, but anyway, the Spurs are, in my opinion, are the only team that can beat OKC. as I view ball, I've been saying that all year. Well, at least most of the year. I've been saying for most of the year, the Spurs have the best 5 in ball. And that's Harper, Castle, Vassell, Fox, and Wemby. And you say, where are the forwards? Wemby. And he's the center. And he's the small forward and the power forward. Anyway, so to me, they have the best 5 in ball. When Harper's on the court, and either Keldon or Champagnie or Harry B are off the court, I just think it's the best 5 in ball. The Spurs have the best defender of all time. Dwight, I agree with you on that. Wemby, I believe, is going to minimize Chet. I don't think he's going to play him under the hardwood, but I think he's going to minimize him. Chet is not going to flourish as he has been. And then the Spurs have Stefan Castle to put on SGA. Remember what Stefan Castle did to Cade Cunningham, okay? He neutralized the guy who's number 4, number 5 on my MVP list for this year, okay? Neutralized him. Steph Castle did that. There were no doubles, no hedges, no man and a half. It was, I got you, okay? And SGA is a tougher cover than Cade, but they have a similar body type. They're both absolute studs. And I don't think Castle will take the bite out of SGA that he took out of Cade, but I still think he's going to take a bite out of SGA. All right. Wemby is the most serious and most motivated NBA player for me. And I know Brunson's super motivated and all that and super serious, but I just think Wemby's a cut above in those 2 areas, which are extremely important at this time of the year. Luka, for me, always hasn't been serious enough and hasn't been motivated enough, right? Yeah, he's in the finals. He's in the West Finals. He's smiling and everything is so good and so fun. And, I'm biting my nails and, making step back shots because I'm that good, right? But there's a seriousness to it. There's a motivation. I'm on a MFing mission right now. Okay. And Luka does not have that aura. So I call him a part-time killer. And anyway, so I didn't think a Luka stray would go down, but it just did. And I'm not sorry. All right. So Wemby just lost. Dwight, I want to make a point about me and Dwight. Dwight knows NBA history like the veins on the back of his hand. Okay. So do I. I don't know as much as Dwight because Dwight played. He's been overseas and he's just been more in actually playing the game. Okay, but there are so many times, Dwight, where something like the David Robinson Hakeem thing, Wemby SGA, where you'll string a 40-year-old historical thing to something that just happened in today's NBA, and time after time after time, you and I are on the same exact page with that. Because I heard you say that earlier, and I'm like, yep, got it in the rundown right here. Wemby just lost MVP to SGA, and this could be, and I think will be, another Hakeem demolition job on David Robinson. Hakeem averaged 35 a game in that series.
He was pissed off. He was pissed.
He was pissed. And then they went on to win the championship. And I think Hakeem might have said something like, you got your MVP. I'm going to go win finals MVP or something like that. And he did. All right. And David was phenomenal at that point of it. I mean, he was phenomenal. At that 1995, David Robinson was the dude, man. I mean, that was a clash of the Titans. But guess who won? Hakeem. Why? Motivated. Hello. Motivation is you can't say every team is super motivated and equally motivated at this level of basketball. I totally disagree with that. Okay. The Knicks, to me, are more motivated than the Cleveland Cavaliers. We explained why, all the pressure, all this kind of stuff. I'm not saying the Cavs are happy to be here, but to a lot of people's expectations, they're not supposed to be here. The Knicks, all hell would have break loose if they weren't here. Okay, so there's different levels of motivation. I also think the Spurs have a better home court advantage than OKC. It's not a wide margin, but I've been in both houses for NBA Finals games. And I'm telling you right now, San Antonio was way better than OKC. Not sorry. I'm not saying the OKC environment wasn't raucous and loud and entertaining And in a good home court advantage, it is. It is. San Antonio is different. If you have not been there for a playoff game or a finals game, like, I'm sorry, I want all of you to be able to plug into that and experience it. They chant the whole game. They cheer the whole game. Okay, it's not a build-up. Oh, let's get like play one. You know, they're chanting defense and they're so into it, it's ridiculous. Okay, and oh, by the way, San Antonio dominated OKC in the games that mattered during the season. So, okay, 2 of us have OKC, 2 of us have San Antonio. Dwight Walton, I want to crank you up here. Knicks or Cavaliers? Who wins? How many games? And you do need to know before you go. Dr. X has picked confidently and maybe a little bit sarcastically the New York Knicks in 4 games over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Dwight Walton.
Hey, hold on. Let's just get us out of the window right now. Ain't nothing sarcastic about my cousin when it comes to the Knicks. He firmly believes that in his head, all of the matchups don't match up. He sincerely believes that the Cavs have 0 shot in this series. That's why I'm sure he's watching, but I wanted him to be on with Justin because all my cousin would have done was my cousin would probably be freaking out right now because Justin made legitimate points, right? But in my cousin's mind, he don't hear that at all. All he's thinking about, this guy can't stop this guy can't stop this guy can't stop. Sometimes it's not about individual matchups. It's about how the teams match up. My concern, if I'm a Cavs fan, is Mitchell Robinson. That's my concern. And I'm going to pick the Knicks in this series because I just think the Cavs overcame a huge emotional hurdle, both physically and mentally. Whether they like it or not, the Cavs were a soft basketball team. They've been a soft basketball team. And I think in the Pistons series, they all collectively got together and said, enough is enough. I have never seen Evan Mobley play with this much force. I have never seen Jared Allen play with this much force. Jared Allen just about admitted 2 years ago when Mitchell Robinson overwhelmed him on the offensive backboard. Jared Allen admitted it. I wasn't ready for it. The lights were too bright for me. I think Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are looking forward to this series, but my concern, did the Cavs expend too much emotional energy, both mentally and physically, against Detroit? Will they have enough against the New York Knicks? I think the Knicks win the series. I think the Knicks win it in 6 games on the road in Cleveland.
I like it. Great breakdown, man. As always. Yeah, I like everything you said right there. AM Pfeffer, you going Cavs here? Who you got?
You know, I've talked about the Cavs a lot this year. You know, I've sarcastically and not sarcastically said that the East runs through Cleveland. And you know that I gave Justin, a little love there when he was on the show and said that this is going to be a tough matchup and a long series. But unsarcastically, I'm pretty close to where Doc's at. Knicks in 5. Mm-hmm. I really strongly believe the Knicks are going to get this done and done the right way. And there's one guy who I was singing his praises a lot in the middle of the year and expected him to be the second or third most important player on this team if they're going to get it done, and that is Mikal Bridges. Lost all of his confidence for whatever reason in the last 2 months of the season, but man, has he come back in a big way. And it's not all offensively, but defensively. He has been there through both of these series, and I expect him to be there again defensively and offensively through this series. But OG, the MVP of the team, is playing out of his mind right now. He is fully healthy, and I expect that train to keep rolling. Jalen Brunson, the fact that you took $34 million a year so Cat can get 57, so Brunson can get, so Mikal can get 33, so OG can get his 47, so Hart can have his 20, so you can have this nucleus together, and you got the bench and everybody there, and Mike Brown's making these adjustments. And what the Knicks have done, really what they've done, not just the last 7 games, but these last 4 or 5 games. And I know they've had this time off, but Cleveland's coming off a tough 7-game series. Like, I just feel like the Knicks quickly jump out to 2 games, go back, steal one of them, and Cleveland come back, close out the series. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the Knicks. They're ready. They're there. They're dialed in. They will be in the finals in 5.
I completely agree with you, A.M. Pfeffer. I have Knicks in 5 as well, and it is not sarcastic at all. I don't believe, and look, I already admitted I was wrong. I gave the Cavs their flowers, but now it's Cavs-Knicks. Okay, so there's going to be a different tone to what you hear. Cavs fans probably aren't going to like it a whole lot. The Cavs are not in the same class as the New York Knicks. For me, they're not. They're in a tier below. Like the Knicks to me are in the second tier. The top tier is 2 teams: OKC and San Antonio. Draw a line. Then you got, I don't know, 5. I haven't even done it, but 5 teams or whatever in the second tier. I don't think the Cavs are in that tier. Okay, where they are. Like they're in the East Finals. That says they are, but like no, I don't. I just don't look at it that way. I'm giving the Cavaliers 1 game, and I completely agree with AM. Knicks, maybe Cavs. Then like the Knicks love a game 4, right? Remember in Atlanta, you lose game 3. What did I tell you guys about game 4? Brunson's going to go nuclear, and this is not going to be a ball game. Boom, the Knicks win by 805 points. Okay. I'm not trying to sound smart. To me, that was the most predictable game of the entire playoffs. Was game 4 at Atlanta and the Knicks kicking their butts. The most predictable game of the playoffs for me. I don't believe that the Cavaliers would have beaten the Raptors if Brandon Ingram was able to finish that series. And we know that there was no Quickly the entire series. I will tell you right now, and I know that injuries determine NBA history. Completely get it. And I'm not trying to change it. I'm just saying, as I make kind of some points against Cleveland. I mean, should they even be here? Yeah, they won the games. Okay. But if you contextualize, would they have beaten a healthy Raptors team? I don't believe so. The Cavs just beat a Detroit team that is clearly flawed, clearly incomplete. Doc started that parade, and many of us have joined him in looking at the Pistons the same way. Good for them. Cavs, you're in the conference finals. Now it's time to go home. The Knicks messed around with Atlanta. Remember, you lose 2 in a row. You're down 2-1 in that series. And then they locked in. They went, and they have not blinked basically since. OG Anunoby's going to be good to go for game 1. And the Cavs had enough dog in them to beat Detroit. And Dwight and I have been huge on the Cavaliers' lack of dog. It's literally what beat them 2 years ago in that first round series against the Knicks. Dog got the 50-50 balls. Dog got the offensive rebounds. Dog got the stops. And the Cavs couldn't match that. Okay? So you had enough dog to beat Detroit, which is impressive because Detroit has a lot of dogs. But beating the dog of Detroit is a lot different than beating the dog of New York. Okay? So I got Knicks in 5. And we all have Knicks and none of us went 7 games on that. Okay, we are up against rant 30 here. So what I want to do is I want to shout out, guys. I had a very, very special thing happen to me over the weekend. A great band called Morelli and the Groove. They're a funk band. They've got a sax, a trumpet. A really, really dynamic and super soulful and awesome front singer. There she is to the right, Miriam. That's Alex in the forefront there. He's the drummer. And my guy Tim back there, he's one of the roadies and part of the tribe. But your boy right there, super blessed to be playing with these badasses right here. So show a couple of the other pictures so we can set the scene here. Guys, look at that crowd.
Oh.
Look at that. Look at that. It went, you guys, this is in Jacksonville. Look at this right here. This is in Jacksonville. It's called the Dancing in the Streets Festival. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I don't know how many, but it was a sea of humanity. There were people, see, this is a good one. Right? Leave this up for a minute. Right behind us, people are body surfing. People like women are on the shoulder. I'm serious, Dwight. Women are on the shoulders of their men, right? With their hands in the air, like bobbing up and down. Dude, I've never experienced anything like that. And I've been off and on a musician for 30 years. Nothing like that. And there I am in the back with the black shades on, hair completely soaked from this guy right here, Alex to the right, the drummer. You can see him, his hair completely soaked. Mike is second from the right, the lead guitarist. He said he kept looking back at us during the show, and all he saw was sweaty hair and sweat flying around. He didn't even see hands or sticks or drums. He just saw hair and sweat, okay? But this is what rock and roll is all about. I had the time of my life. It is the pinnacle of my musical career so far. But huge shout out to Morelli and the Groove. I played with them at a music festival. I was the percussionist at large and got put with them. They were gracious enough to go with the flow of that. I killed it. I say that humbly. But they liked it and invited me back. And there may be some more gigs coming from this. But I wanted to show you guys those pictures and kind of live this with you guys a little bit. I'm still vibrating from what happened on Saturday night. And guys, a year and a half ago, broke up with my wife. Had to restart my career, restart my identity, like a whole lot of stuff. I was at ground zero, okay? And the first thing I did, I dove into art. I dove into music. It was very therapeutic. I had missed it for like 20 years. And I had this belief, this confidence that if I put the work in and get my chops back, that I'm going to find success as a musician, and hopefully a lot more than I did in my first iteration. So a year and a half later, boom, that was the payoff. And God is great. God is great because he's been with me the whole time and always is. And so, all right, just a little bit of basketball. Okay, guys, show the still of Jade McDaniels in the worst uniform in NBA history. Show them. I have such good news. I'm so excited about this. This is not a Steve Kerr rant or a Luka rant or a Draymond Green rant. This is a love fest right here. Okay, so this is not. We've just departed from the love fest. Okay, worst uniform in the history of the NBA is what you're looking at right there. It's funny, at the production meeting yesterday, Jason Arambulu was like, I actually like that uniform. And I go, we can still be friends. You're still my boy, but we have a vehement disagreement here. Okay, so now put up either Anthony Edwards or Io so they can see an actually dope uniform. And I'm going to read you this report. The Timberwolves could be rebranding their uniforms next season to pay homage to the Kevin Garnett era. So what you're see, that's an old school, like throwback KG type. So is that right there. Okay. Thank you, Kai and Jason. Guys, it seems to me that this is another assist from your boy. Right? All these hookups I give to Adam Silver. I give it, Dwight. I give. And I don't need anything in return. I'm just that kind of guy. Okay, so once again, your boy Cam is howling mad about something. Bam! We have a solution. Oh, I like this. So that is, see what, we got to get the do-rag Adam Silver up in here. So that's my rant, guys. But it said could be. Okay, remember the report said could be rebranding. Timberwolves, remove the could be. Rebrand. Okay, I insist. Dwight Walton see, there you go. And there's my guy, KG. I love that black, that with the green trim. I freaking love that jersey. Dwight Walton, do you agree with me? And AM, I'm just curious. Do you agree with me that the jersey that Jade McDaniels was wearing is horrible? Or do you guys kind of like it like Jason? Like, where are you at with that jersey?
So, AM, I'll go first here. I don't mind this uniform that Jade McDaniels is wearing, but I like the other ones better. I'm not gonna just sit here and poo-poo on this uniform. This one right here that Ayo is wearing, terrific. The three uniforms that you showed with KG wearing, those are terrific. If I had my choice, yes, go back to these three right here. But I'm not just gonna throw off the shelf the one that Jade McDaniels is wearing.
Okay. AM.
I'm 100% with you, Rick. It is horrible. That's the word. It's sterile. I mean, it literally looks like it's like some corporate logo, like in a city of industry in the middle of the. I don't even want to. It's terrible. It is so anathema to like the verve and the flavor of NBA League basketball. It should be burned. I couldn't agree more with you. Get it off any player ever again. Look at that. It's so placid. It's so sterile. Goodbye. I never want to see that again.
All right. Now that we've solved that, and shout out to Jay Singh. Says, love this great show. We love you being out there, Jay.
Hold on, Rick. Hold on. Jason and Kai, can you kindly put up the insufferable Knick fan in the corner again, please? I don't know if you guys saw it.
No, I missed it.
Bring it up, fellas.
Yeah, I missed it. Shout out to Correa. We appreciate you, Correa.
There you go.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh, come on.
Oh, brilliant.
That is hilarious. I'm into it. Our guys are so talented, man. What a team.
That is
what
awesome.
a team. Yeah, that's really good. And by the way, it was not Kai and Jason's fault that we couldn't get the video of the car crash. That was like, dude, YouTube, you let us down, bro. You let us down. They looking right at the wrong spot. Like, that's like a 3.5 minute video. Why would you have a 3.5 minute hilarious movie clip and then not literally have the payoff shot of the whole thing? Makes no sense. I don't know. AM Pepper, it's rant time for you, dude.
All right. First of all, Rick, love your rant. Love your shout out. Congratulations. That's incredible, man. Those pictures.
Hey, super quick.
Agreed.
Super quick. Look at who's calling me right now. Look at who's calling me right now.
They want you back.
Oh, my bad.
Adam
Who's calling me right now?
Oh, yeah.
I gotta call him I'm gonna call him when we're done with the show, but I know he wants to talk Knicks and here we go. We got Knicks Cavs. But anyway, I'm sorry.
The full call. All right, you know what? I don't have a rant today. I actually have two quick shout outs. The first shout out to the Hitman, aka Donnie Baseball, aka Don Mattingly. Look, real quick. I grew up a big Yankees fan. He was my era. I loved Don Mattingly, like hero, at the time of my life, that kind of thing. And here's a guy who said he would never manage again, had no interest or whatever. The Phillies are 15-5 since he's come back. They're over 500. I got nothing to say about the Phillies against that, whatever it is. But Donnie Baseball, good on you, man. I'm just giving you a little shout out today. I think that's pretty cool that you brought them all the way back so quickly. And another shout out. I have a great grandmother in my family. To my children, there's still one in our family, and she is amazing. She is down in Arizona. I just wanted to wish a very happy birthday. I will not say her age, but Gigi, great grandma, Ruth Hogan, happy birthday to you. You are amazing. We love you. Cannot wait to see you. Hope it's sooner than later, certainly. But we'll definitely see you at Christmas time down in Arizona. Love you very much. Happy birthday, great grandma, Ruth Hogan.
That's cool. My mom's name was Gigi, so that's cool right there, man. Much love it, and respect. Dwight Walton, bring us home, big fella.
You know what? I normally side with the new school when it comes to sports debates. I'm not one of these people that things don't get better over time. If you've heard me say time and time again, this is the best the NBA has ever been. I grew up in the 80s and 90s watching all the greats from Dr. J, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, Kevin Johnson, Charles Barkley, all the greats, right? So I admire and always pay homage to them. But I like the new school. Basketball's never been better. That's another conversation. The point I'm making, Chris Finch, Anthony Edwards, I'm very disappointed with what you guys did last week as you were about to be eliminated by the San Antonio Spurs. I understand that the deficit was a lot in the fourth quarter. I understand that Anthony Edwards was basically playing on one leg. But with 8 minutes to go in the game, you do not empty your bench and then during the commercial break, Anthony Edwards go down and shake the hands of all the San Antonio players. You sit on the bench, you wait for the game to end, then you go and shake the hands of your opposition. They outplayed you, they out-tough you, they beat you fair and square. I did not like it, Chris Finch. I understand what you were doing, but it was the wrong time to do it. I think it sends a bad message in terms of competitive spirit. You were down by 25. I've seen teams come back in the fourth quarter with that amount of time left, albeit in the regular season. But with the three-point line being the ultimate equalizer, don't tell your team that the game is over. I don't care how poorly Julius Randle was playing. I understand that Anthony Edwards was not 100%. You were already without Dante DiVincenzo. And like I said, Edwards was hurt. I understand that. But still, don't throw in your subs with 8 minutes to go, and then Edwards goes and shakes hands. I thought it was a bad look. I'm not sitting here asking for Chris Finch's job, but I just didn't like it in the spirit of competition. And to top it all off, it was an elimination game. It wasn't game one. It wasn't game two. You were down in the series. You never know. You play defense. You make a ton of shots. Next thing you know, it's a 10-point game with 3 minutes to go. And we all know that 3 minutes in basketball is like 30 minutes in real time. So you had time still. So I'm disappointed in that. That's the old school in me. You play till the end, until the last 4 minutes. Then you could say, you know what, game over. But with 8 minutes, I didn't like it. It was a bad look.
My Wolves are in a very, very tough spot, guys. Very, very tough spot. You've got Dante DiVincenzo is going to miss all of next year. And for every West team not named OKC and San Antonio, it's how do we compete with them, okay? And I don't think that any team in the West is close to competing with them. Like maybe win a game or two in a playoff series, but could Minnesota beat San Antonio or OKC right now? Hell no. Could the Lakers? Hell no. Could Houston? Hell no. Could Denver? Hell no. There's this huge divide between San Antonio, OKC, and the rest of the West. And then, no Dante next year. You may lose Ayo in free agency, and that would be 2 free agent hits in a row with Nickeil Alexander-Walker and then maybe Ayo. So I look, I'm still a Wolves fan, not like divorcing or anything like that, but I don't have huge hopes. And like, I did see they're going to strongly pursue Giannis Antetokounmpo this offseason. I mean, pack a lunch. Good luck, dude. A lot of teams are. And I just don't think that I don't think the Bucks are going to be like, oh, yeah, I love what you could offer us. Anyway, we got to get out of here, guys. Phenomenal job, Dwight. Phenomenal job, AM. Thank you for booking Justin, Dwight. That was really cool. Great interview. Justin Rowan, really appreciate his time. The great Lionel Hollins was up in here, and we always appreciate his time. Guys, coming up on Thursday, we have Ryan Hollins, our good buddy. He is back at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So, for the insufferable Dr. X and whereabouts unknown, for Dwight Walton up in his province, for AFF out in our LA studios, for Kai and Jason behind the glass, I'm Rick Kamla. We are the X-Rated Sports Network. This has been Beyond the Surface. We'll see you again Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Bye-bye for now.